Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Shinigami, Millennium Captain. Chapter 1. Lin Yu, a 996 social animal of the new era with a sense of justice, was influenced by martial arts movies and TV dramas since he was a child, and determined to be a knight who eliminates violence and is good at peace when he grows up. Of course, this is nonsense. Be a knight in modern society and wait for tea. After graduating from college, Lin Yu's daily life is about 2 o'clock in one line. He usually likes to watch various animations and play games. When he is traveling on vacation, he worships the gods and prays for one day to get rich overnight. If there were no accidents, his life trajectory would be to find someone he loves, then start a family, and work hard to be a good cow and horse until he retires, and this life will pass like this. As a result, this accident happened. After all, he is the protagonist. How can he survive without accidents? Should the plot developed. Unexpectedly, a lottery ticket I bought unexpectedly won the prize. Or the first prize. Could it be said that this is the legendary overnight wealth? Lin Yu looked at the lottery ticket in his hand and couldn't help but feel an uncontrollable joy in his heart, an excitement. This is a total of 10 million yuan. With this money, life will undergo earth-shaking changes. Thank you all the ancestors, we are the gods and true spirits of China. It's not in vain for me to worship at every temple. I will reshape the golden bodies of the big guys from all over the world someday. Lin Yu said to himself excitedly, his eyes twinkling, glowing with excitement. However, just as I was immersed in endless joy, a thought suddenly flashed through my mind. Could it be that the director drank too much yesterday and said the wrong number when handing over the lottery numbers? After all, this kind of thing is not impossible. It may have happened. After all, the appearance of gods is too outrageous, and the promised materialist society is just that. In any case, this lottery ticket has changed his destiny. The next thing to do is to plan how to use the money so that it can bring you more happiness and satisfaction. At the same time, we must also learn to cherish this rare luck, never forget our original intentions, and continue to work hard to move forward. The next day, Lin Yu came to the lottery center early and completed all the prize redemption procedures. He held the huge prize check tightly in his hand, and his heart was full of excitement and expectation. After walking out of the lottery center, Lin Yu took a deep breath and felt the warmth of the sun shining on his body. He walked towards the nearby bank with firm steps, immersed in the beautiful longing for his future life along the way. Walking into the bank lobby, Lin Yu handed the prize redemption check to the staff and went through the transfer procedures. Every step made him feel nervous and excited, as if he was entering a new stage of life. When all the procedures were completed, Lin Yu looked at the received amount displayed on the mobile banking, and his joy was indescribable. This huge sum of money means that he can realize his dreams, travel, learn new skills, invest in businesses, etc. Walking out of the bank gate, Lin Yu's face was filled with a happy smile. He knows that this lottery ticket has changed his destiny, but more importantly, how can he use this opportunity to create a better life of his own? Lin Yu began to plan his future. Decided to take some time off and enjoy life. Then consider investing in some potential projects, or pursuing your long-standing interests and hobbies. Whether he chooses to continue working or start his own business, Lin Yu firmly believes that as long as he maintains a positive attitude and works hard, he will be able to live the life he wants. And all of this stems from that small lottery ticket, which brought Lin Yu endless hope and possibility. But the most important thing now is to have fun. Now that you finally have money, can't you enjoy it? Lin Yu stood at the bank gate and smiled. People around him looked at him like a fool. Suddenly a scream came from my ears, "Come here, someone is robbing you." The shouting instantly broke Lin Yu's thoughts. He thought that he had practiced a few tricks in college. He was not a small robber. After all, he was a man who wanted to be a knight. Moreover, as outstanding new socialist young people should act recklessly when encountering this kind of thing and protect the people's property from infringement. Lin Yu immediately rushed to the robber, thinking that today was his lucky day. Not only would he be rich, but he might also get the title of brave man, which would be great. Lin Yu roared righteously while rushing towards the robbers. "Little brother, robbery in broad daylight, you are showing off your head. Put your hands on your head and squat down, you are already surrounded." Who would have thought that the robber on the opposite side suddenly took out a pistol, and without saying any more words, he just opened fire. Lin Yu suddenly felt his eyes darken. If you don't talk about martial arts, you can't afford this, brother. Are you going to shoot someone during a robbery? I haven't even used the money I won from the lottery yet. I'm a young model in the club. I'm still an innocent little virgin. I'm brave enough to fight for justice. Lin Yu fell into a pool of blood, his consciousness gradually blurring. When he woke up again, he found himself in a strange place. I'm already dead, isn't it? This should be the underworld, but the underworld should be a gloomy and terrifying place. What's going on with the blue sky, white clouds and green grass? And the dazzling sun? What's going on? There's a bull-headed horse face. Well, I didn't see Hei Bai Wu Chong. I just wanted to do something brave, and the robber who killed me just asked me to send it. If I had known better, I wouldn't have been rash. In the next life, you should be strict with yourself. The more reckless you are, the faster you will die. I don't think so much anymore. This must be the underworld. The spooky and terrifying things are just like in mythical novels. I think I have been keeping to myself since I was a child, and I haven't done anything like that. He did something outrageous and often helped the old lady cross the road. This should lead to a good pregnancy. Lin Yu looked at the sky in a daze. Hey, kid, is there anything good to see in the sky? A female voice came from my ear. Lin Yu looked at the place where the voice came from. What a beautiful girl. The person who came was a woman wearing a black kimono, a sufang-colored haori with a white lining, a long ponytail, and a young woman with glasses. She has a petite figure but a plump bust, and a calm expression. She also has something like a samurai sword hanging on her waist. Lin Yu looked incredulous, and his brain suddenly shut down. Wait, this is not a horse. Hell, this style of painting is obviously wrong. If my memory is correct, then the black clothes are not kimonos, but tyrannical clothes. This costume should be that of a Shinigami, and this is a captain-level Shinigami. You must know that not every Shinigami is qualified to wear haori. This is a captain-level exclusive costume. Su Fang color lining. This should be the color of haori from the 8th division of the Shinigami 13th division. Lin Yu came back to his senses and looked at the face of the visitor, female, captain of the 8th division, wear glasses. Is this Lisa, the loser? Why is the face different from the one in the anime, or maybe I recognized it wrongly. But she is the captain of the 8th division with a female character, wearing glasses, and big breasts. Lin Yu's face suddenly turned red. Pig liver color indicates a premature death. Lin Yu quickly sorted out the general plot of Shinigami in his mind. Yadomaru Lisa's promotion to captain of the 8th division should be after the plot of the 1,000 Years of Blood War. The former captain of the 8th division was Kyoraku Shunsui. In the Millennium Blood War plot, Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni, captain of the 1st division of the Gotei 13th division and general captain of the Gotei 13th division, was killed by the king of the Quincy, Yuwatch. Later, Kyoraku Shunsui accepted the order of Central 46 and succeeded him as the captain of the first team and the captain of the Gotei 13. Kyoraku Shunsui has had two vice-captains, one is Aiz Naneo, who was transferred to the first team with him as the deputy captain, and the other is Yadomaru Lisa, the current captain of the 8th team. This woman's appearance is different from what she remembers. Maybe it's because of the change in the passage of time. I don't know what time it is now. Even if I know the plot well, it's useless. After all, the comic only ends at the end of the 1,000-year bloody battle, and the author didn't draw it after that. Lin Yu felt like his eyesight went dark at this moment. Others who traveled through time were in the plot timeline. Why was he so unlucky that he traveled to the anime world that he knew well? However, after the plot ended, he had no idea what would happen in the future. You know, it's really over. At this time, the woman who looked like Yadomaru Lisa spoke. Kid, what's that expression on your face? Do you know me? Also, welcome to the place where souls belong, Soul Society. Although Lin Yu already knew that this was Soul Society, he still pretended to be ignorant and asked curiously, Sister, what exactly is Soul Society? And who are you? The woman looked at Lin Yu, frowned with a puzzled look, and said, Soul Society is the place where the souls belong after death. Judging from your surprised expression just now, I thought you knew me. Woolen cloth. Since you asked, I will reluctantly tell you that I am the captain of the 8th division of the Gotei 13th division, Shikatori Bonsai. Bonsai's face darkened as he spoke. You just called me eldest sister, kid. Then he put his hand on the Zanpakuto. Sure enough, this is the captain of the 8th Division. Huh, no, she said she is Shikatori Unsai, the captain of the 8th Division, not the Yadomaru Lisa I thought. Lin Yu felt paralyzed instantly. This is not what happened after 1,000 years of bloody battles. Soul Society before. It's true that Shikaba Unsai is the captain of the 8th Division, but she is the captain of the 8th Division of First Generation. The First Generation Gotei 13, named Gotei, are actually a killer group that actually commits murder. The captains of the First Generation Gotei 13 were all extremely vicious villains, completely different from the later Gotei 13. Looking at Ba Yunjai's gloomy face, Lin Yu thought to himself, it's over, I called her eldest sister just now, look at this girl's actions, will she just draw her sword and chop me down? She finally traveled to Soul Society, no. I'm going to send it again. You ask me why I don't act recklessly. Isn't it quite reckless? Come on, I'm a fool. But I'm not an idiot, that's the captain of the First Generation Gotei 13. I'm so reckless with my head. It's just an easy thing for her to hack me to death. It turns out to be Captain Shikatori. I'm really rude. Please forgive me for being rude. Lin Yu suddenly knelt in front of Ba Yunjai with a shovel. There is no other way. In order to survive, I have to accept the shame. A man can bend and stretch. Besides, the captain of the 13th Division of First Generation is also the top combat power in Soul Society, so there is no shame in kneeling to her. Seeing Lin Yu's sudden move, Ba Yunjai was stunned for a moment and put his hand down from his Zanpakuto. What an interesting kid. He's quite enlightened. He's just a newly born soul. It doesn't matter whether he's killed or not. No, I didn't pay attention just now. This kid just came to Soul Society. His spiritual pressure is at the 6th level. He has already reached the threshold of deputy captain level. If he can get systematic training, he will definitely become a leader in the future. The top combat power in the Soul Society. The Shinigami world's Reiatsu is divided into 20 levels. The Reiatsu of ordinary members of the Gotei 13 is the 20th level. The Reiatsu of each team's chief officer is level 7 to 19. The Reiatsu of the deputy captain is level 4 to 6, etc., and those above the captain level are 1st to 3rd class. Kid, tell me your name. Ba Yunjai had a kind expression on his face. Captain Shikatori, my name is Lin Yu. It's my honor to meet you. Lin Yu had a mean expression on his face. Lin Yu, do you know what the Gotei 13 are? Ba Yunjai asked with a smile. I was just born in Soul Society. The Gotei 13 seems to have 13 teams according to its name. It should be an organization in Soul Society. Please let me know what the organization is. Captain Shikatori, can I ask? Is Captain Shikatori the captain of several divisions? I didn't hear clearly just now. Lin Yu said sincerely. You must not reveal that you have watched the Shinigami anime and just pretend to be a novice who knows nothing, otherwise you will suffer a big loss if you are hacked to death. Ba Yunjai turned sideways, revealing the character, 8, on Yuji's back. As you can see, I am the captain of the 8th Division. The Gotei 13 is an organization set up to protect the Seraiti. It is currently a killer organization. I don't know what it will turn into in the future. Lin Yu, are you willing to join the Gotei 13? You had 6th level spiritual pressure when you were born in Soul Society. I think Old Man Shan will be very happy for you to join. With Old Man Shan's teachings, you can also become a peaceful warrior. I am as strong a captain as I am. Old Man Shan, this is the Captain Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni, I guess. If you can hang out with Old Man Shan, you don't have to worry about being suddenly hacked to death one day. A look of hesitation appeared on Lin Yu's face. But at this time, Old Man Shan is also a cruel person. Lin Yu was silent for a moment, then looked up at Ba Yunjai. I can join the Gotei 13th team, but I have a condition. Ba Yunjai asked with great interest, oh, what are the conditions? Let me tell you. I want to choose the squad I join. Lin Yu said firmly. Ba Yunjai laughed, haha, it's interesting. You have quite a personality. However, this is not an easy task. Each division of the Gotei 13 has its own characteristics and tasks. You have to how to choose. Lin Yu smiled slightly, I don't have to worry about Captain Ba Yunjai. I believe I can find a suitable squad. Ba Yunjai nodded. Well, since you have this confidence, I won't say more. Wait until you think about it carefully before telling me your decision. But don't let me wait too long, otherwise I will all change my mind. After saying that, she turned and left. Lin Yu looked at her leaving back and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He knows that he still has a long way to go, but he has already taken the first step. Next, he must carefully plan his life in Soul Society and how to deal with various challenges he may encounter. Following in the footsteps of Bonsai, he arrived at the main gate of Seraiti from Rukongai in a short while. Seraiti is located in an important place in the center of Soul Society. It is the political and military headquarters of Soul Society. It houses a central underground conference room and the team buildings of the Gote 13 Division, the residences of Shinigami nobles and the residences of ordinary Shinigami. The residence, the endless hell where vicious criminals are imprisoned, and the central academy of spiritual arts that the common people long for most. I wonder if it has been established now. There are 4 gates in Seraiti: West, East, North, and South, Hakudo, Qingliu, Hurei, and Zua. Lin Yu looked at the huge door in front of him and didn't know which door it was. We are finally entering the Seraiti, Master Shan, and all the captains from thousands of years ago. Duanzangwan, open the door. Following Ba Yunjai's words, the door slowly opened. Duanzang Maru, it seems that this is the north gate of Seraiti. Listening to Ba Yunjai's call, Lin Yu knew the location of this gate. It turns out that Captain Ba Yunjai is back. Is the kid behind you brought back by the captain? I'm so lucky to get your favor. Maybe he will become a big shot in the future. Hello, Lord Duanzangmaru, my name is Lin Yu, nice to meet you. Lin Yu, right, I'm not an adult, I'm just the guardian of the north gate of Seraiti. I can only be regarded as a hero in Soul Society. Lin Yu, stop talking nonsense and follow me. I will take you to see the captain first. As expected of the center of Soul Society, Seraiti is much more prosperous than the newly born Rukongai. Although I have seen Seraiti countless times in comics, this time I saw it with my own eyes, and the shock is irreplaceable. Looking at the Shinigami coming and going on the street, Lin Yu followed Ba Yunjai towards the first team area. Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni is finally going to meet the man who is known as the strongest Shinigami in Soul Society for thousands of years. Really looking forward to it. Lin Yu, wait for me here. I'll go in to see the captain. After saying that, Ba Yunjai went in minding his own business. Captain Yamamoto, I have brought a kid that you may be interested in, a newly born soul whose spiritual pressure has reached the 6th level without training. Let him in. Lin Yu, the captain wants to see you, come in quickly. Lin Yu stepped into the captain's room and looked at the young captain. He didn't look as old as after 1,000 years in the comics at all. Just sitting there on his knees gave off a sense of oppression. This spiritual pressure really made him feel uncomfortable. People feel uncomfortable. There is only one pie on Captain Yamamoto's forehead. It seems that Sasaki Chojiro has not yet appeared at this time. Sasaki Chojiro, the deputy captain of the first team, is a soy sauce person in Shinigami. The full name is Sasaki Chojiro Tadayoshi. About 2,000 years ago, Chojiro worked hard to hone his strength in order to become Yamamoto's deputy, and complied with the other party's request, successfully practicing Bankai within a month. Later, when Yamamoto was about to accept the results and asked him to try to use Bankai to knock him down, Chojiro used the newly trained Bankai to hurt the captain's forehead, making the captain who had no intention of taking in his attendance recognize his strength. He has been with Yamamoto since the beginning. He is extremely loyal to Captain Yamamoto and has sworn that as long as Captain Yamamoto is still alive, he will always serve as the deputy captain of the first team. You could say that he is a soy saucer. He could use Bankai to leave scars on Captain Yamamoto's forehead, and made Captain Shigekuni Yamamoto add the 3 words, Genryusai, to his name. In the first Quincy battle, he also sneaked a surprise attack on Yuwatch, but during the 1,000-year bloody battle, he was instantly killed. It was a complete tragedy. While Lin Yu was observing Captain Yamamoto, Yamamoto Genryusai opened his slightly closed eyes. He is a good kid. He can remain calm despite my dissipated spiritual pressure. He has innate 6th level spiritual pressure. If he polishes it well, he has the potential to become a strong man. Lin Yu, right, Ba Yunjai has told me information about you. Although you have 6th level spiritual pressure, you don't know any of the Zen fist walking ghost that you need to master as a Shinigami. If you want to become if you are qualified and strong, you still have a long way to go. Then you can join my Yuanliu, and I will teach you personally in Yuanzi School. Genji Juku. It seems that the Central Spiritual Arts Academy has not been established yet. I can also be regarded as the initial stock of the Gotei 13 team. Captain Yamamoto, if I accept your teachings, can I become as strong as you? Lin Yu, I have to say that your idea is very bold, but young people need to be bold. I will teach you everything I know. As for how far you can go in the future, it depends on yourself. Becoming a strong man is not that easy. Yuan Lujai looked at Lin Yu with sharp eyes. Ba Yunjai, find him a shallow punch. Starting tomorrow, I will personally teach him how to cut the fist and move the ghost. If there is nothing else, you can leave. Captain, we are resigning. Lin Yu and Ba Yunjai walked out of the first team together. Lin Yu, you have just arrived at the Seraiti and you have nowhere to go. Come back to the 8th division with me. I will make arrangements for you. I will tell you about the current situation of each team in the Gotei 13th division. There are also the basic knowledge of Zukenzuki that the captain just taught you. These 4 techniques are what a qualified Shinigami must master. Then thank you Captain Bayanjai. Although I know this from reading the comics, I still have to learn it. Soon Lin Yu and Ba Yunjai arrived at the 8th division team building. Now let me tell you roughly what Zukenzuki is. Zenkinzuki represents the 4 fighting methods of Shinigami. Ba Yunjai explained seriously to Lin Yu, among them, Zan, refers to attacking with weapons, and the one we Shinigami most commonly use is Zanpaku. Knife, fist, is white hits, which is the unarmed fighting technique. Walk, is Shunpo, which is used to move quickly and dodge enemy attacks, and Ghost, is more special and involves the use of Kido. For Kido, you can simply understand it as a kind of magic. Lin Yu nodded while listening. He knew some of these contents from the comics. To master these 4 techniques, you need constant practice and training. Especially Shunpo, it is the basis of Shinigami combat. Only by mastering it proficiently can you respond flexibly in battle. Ba Yunjai continued. I see. Lin Yu nodded thoughtfully. Then what kind of magic is Kido? Ba Yunjai smiled slightly and explained. Kido is actually a spell that uses spiritual power. It can be activated by chanting spells and has various effects, such as attack, defense, seal, etc. Moreover, Kido's the power will also increase as the caster's spiritual pressure increases. Sounds awesome. Lin Yu's eyes flashed with excitement. Of course, Kido's practice is not easy. Not only do you need to master the correct chants and gestures, but you also need to have enough spiritual support. However, with your talent, I believe you will be able to learn it well. Ba Yunjai encouraged. Next, I will introduce to you some basic information about the current team captains of the Gotei 13. You have already met the captain and general captain of the first team, Yamamoto Shigekuni, also known as Yamai, so I won't say more. The captain of the second division is Seni Shihoin. The Shihoin family belongs to the nobility of the Soul Society. At the same time, the captain of the second division also serves as the commander-in-chief of the secret mobile force. The captain of the third division, Tohara Kindler, wears a pair of glasses and has a slicked back hair. He usually looks quite serious. The captain of the fourth squadron, Shijima Chigiri, had a ponytail and a gloomy look on his face. The captain of the fifth division, Oka Danjiro, is a tall, muscular man, and a very cheerful person. Saito, captain of the sixth division, is an immortal, crazy woman who wears an eye patch and twin tails. Hearing these words, Lin Yu's mouth twitched. The captain of the seventh division, Nobusuna, wears fur all year round and looks fierce at ordinary times. The captain of the ninth division has a smoky face and a big bald head inlaid with gold teeth, like a monster. The captain of the 10th division, Wang Tukawa Yuori, usually wears a hat, is a handsome guy, and is quite gentle to others. The captain of the 11th division is Unohana Yakiru. This woman claims to have mastered all schools in the world and has killed countless people. Before joining the Gotei 13th division, she was an unprecedented evil person. Stay away from her. Don't get hacked to death by her. Up. The captain of the 12th Division, Zenjoji, has a concubine, a fat man with a red facial pattern, who he doesn't usually have much contact with. The captain of the 13th Squadron is a tough guy. He has a bald head, a hunchback, and a charming smile. Don't go to him if you have nothing to do. Okay, the above is the basic situation of the current captains of each team. You will see them in the future, so you can get to know them slowly. As for the secret mobile force mentioned just now, it is an organization independent of Team 13, and there are also Kido members. The covert mobile force consists of 5 units. The 1st Detachment Criminal Army, mainly responsible for executions and assassinations, it is the most violent and direct execution force among the covert mobile forces. Police Squadron 2, the unit responsible for patrolling the Joraiti and monitoring Shinigami's movements. The 3rd Division Inspection Team guards the Worm Nest, the prison in Soul Society, and is responsible for monitoring and managing imprisoned Shinigami, or dangerous elements. The 5th Team, Lidding Team, is responsible for quickly conveying orders to all units. Unlike the Hell Butterfly Messenger, the orders conveyed by the Lidding Team are first-level strict orders. As for the 4th Detachment, I have never come into contact with it. I heard that it was a detachment set up to protect the nobles. If you want to know more, ask the captain of Saifengyuan yourself, although he will not tell you. Okay, these are the basic knowledge that you must master as a Shinigami. That's all for today. Starting from tomorrow, the captain will teach you Zanpakuto during the day, and I will teach you about Zanpakuto in the evening. This is the core of our Shinigami. Lin Yu hummed a little tune and returned to the dormitory arranged by Ba Yunjai, flopped down on the bed, and then rolled around on the bed like a caterpillar. He slowly reviewed the events from time travel to this moment, Shinigami, Zenkinzuki, Zanpakuto, and the plot characters he was familiar with. From today on, I am one of you. No one stands in the sky from the beginning, whether it is you, me, or gods. From now on, I will stand in the sky. You said this is a classic quote from Hairspray Hand Lan Da, fart. Lan Da didn't even appear. This sentence is what I, Lin Yu, said when Uranus Lousy came. Early in the morning, Lin Yu took the shallow shot given to him by Ba Yunjai and went to Captain Yamamoto's residence. Training is about to start today. I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know how the captain will teach me. You're quite early. Ba Yunjai should have told you the definition of swordsmanship last night. Let's start learning swordsmanship today. Lin Yu, what do you think swordsmanship is? Team Yamamoto looked at him meaningfully. I think swordsmanship is just a technique, like a move or a slashing routine. HMPH. Innocent kid, swordsmanship doesn't need any fancy tricks. The so-called swordsmanship is to let you cut what you should cut, that's all. The tricks will only affect the speed of your slashing. What an inconvenience that is. Ah, I thought swordsmanship was just a trick. From now on, let's start with the most basic practice of swinging a knife. Watch my movements carefully. The captain looked forward and pulled out his Zanpakuto fiercely. Lin Yu saw a flash of light from the knife, and before he could react, the knife struck him. No, is it possible that the captain will chop me to death if I am too idiotic? Lin Yu instinctively closed his eyes. Ah, why doesn't it hurt? I must have sent it already and I don't even feel the pain. Open your eyes, kid. The next moment, the captain's furious roar reached Lin Yu's ears. Lin Yu was instantly startled, and when he opened his eyes, he found that he was fine. Looking at the Zanpakuto that was clinging to his body, this sword was really terrifying. He couldn't react at all. The blade of the sword was close to his body but did not cut into his body. What kind of control and speed was this? Are you an idiot? The captain's face turned red. Oops, the captain is angry. Lin Yu suddenly panicked. Captain, please listen to my explanation. I thought you were going to hack me to death, but I was already prepared to die heroically. I closed my eyes to accept it calmly. Seeing Lin Yu's mean expression, the captain was stunned for a moment. Kid, I have to say, you are really thick-skinned. I don't know if my knife can cut it open. No, Captain, I can't take your blow. Okay, did you see anything from the knife just now? The captain looked at Lin Yu seriously after putting away the knife. I saw your absolute control of speed and strength from the captain's sword. You still have to be serious when you should be serious. Lin Yu pointedly expressed his understanding of this knife. Yes, although you are a bit unruly, your brain is still quite flexible. To cut, you need to control the speed and power of your sword swing. Only by perfectly combining speed and power can you achieve the strongest cutting effect. Now, you try to swing the knife according to what I did just now. Lin Yu took a deep breath, then unsheathed his sword and tried his best to imitate the captain's actions. However, his movements seemed stiff and unnatural, and the blade could not hit the target as accurately as the captain. The speed is too slow and the strength is not enough. Try again, the captain said sternly. Lin Yu tried again, but the result did not improve much. Concentrate and feel the weight and balance of the blade. Make the knife become a part of your body and swing it as you like. The captain stepped forward and adjusted Lin Yu's posture himself. Today's goal: follow this move 1,000 times. No, Captain, it will be exhausting, Lin Yu cried sadly. Shut up, start, count by yourself, swing one less sword, and run around the first team area 10 times. If you can't complete it, I will personally educate you. 1 knife, 2 knives, 3 swords. As the number of swings of the knife increased, Lin Yu gradually entered a state of selflessness. His state was like a martial arts master in a novel who became obsessed when practicing Kung Fu. But the difference was that Lin Yu did not become obsessed, but immersed in a wonderful world. There was only him and the knife in his hand in this world, and each knife carried a sharp aura that made people afraid to look directly at it. At this time, Lin Yu had completely forgotten everything around him. Only the knife and the action of swinging the knife were left in his mind. Every time he swung the knife, he would feel a wonderful connection between his body and the knife, and this connection made him feel extremely excited. He knew that this was the feeling that the captain asked him to look for, the feeling of being able to maximize his power. Unknowingly, Lin Yu had swung more than 100 knives, each one faster, harder, and stronger than the previous one. His body was also soaked with sweat, but he was unaware of it and was still immersed in that wonderful feeling. Finally, when Lin Yu swung the knife again, he suddenly felt as if he had touched something. It was an indescribable feeling, as if it was a layer of gauze that could be healed with just a light poke through. But when he wanted to feel it carefully, he found that the veil had disappeared without a trace, as if it was just an illusion. What is this? Lin Yu was confused. He didn't know what he had just touched, nor how he could feel it again. However, he is not discouraged because he knows that this is an important breakthrough point for his swordsmanship. As long as he can seize this opportunity, he will be able to greatly improve his swordsmanship. So, Lin Yu continued to wave the knife in his hand, trying to find the wonderful feeling just now. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get that feeling back. He couldn't help but feel a little frustrated. Is this really just an illusion? At this moment, Lin Yu suddenly thought of something. When I read novels in the past, there was this kind of plot. Whether it was practicing swordsmanship or sword practice, if you want to become a real master, you must achieve the integration of man, sword, and sword. In other words, you must make sword become one. The knife becomes a part of your body, as flexible as your arm. Thinking of this, Lin Yu suddenly felt enlightened. He realized that the wonderful feeling just now was not an illusion, but that he had accidentally touched the realm of the unity of man and sword during his practice. Although it was only a moment, it was enough for him to understand that he was not far from this realm. While Lin Yu was thinking, Captain Yamamoto opened his eyes in disbelief. Not only does this kid have surprisingly high spiritual pressure, he is also a genius in swordsmanship. He has realized the true meaning of swordsmanship so quickly. Ba Yunjai has really picked up an incredible treasure. After exiting this wonderful feeling, Lin Yu felt as if he had been beaten, with pain all over his body and loss of strength. He involuntarily stopped swinging the knife and collapsed on the ground. He stopped, maybe because his physical strength is too low. It seems that while he is practicing swordsmanship, he needs to strengthen this kid's physique. Captain Yamamoto suddenly thought of something. Kid, you haven't swung the knife enough times for 1,000 times. I just said that if you swing the knife less than once, you will run around the first team 10 times. Now, immediately, start running for me. Immediately afterwards, a strange scene appeared outside the first team. Among the puzzled expressions of all the Shinigami, there was an unknown young Shinigami carrying a Zanpakuto, running around the team like a headless fly, and kept muttering, "How scary. Okay. Horrible." Behind him was Captain Yamamoto with a gloomy face, holding a Zanpakuto, chasing him all the way. "I heard that today you were chased all the way by the captain with a Zanpakuto. What outrageous thing did you do to make the captain so angry?" Ba Yunjai looked at Lin Yu, who had just returned to the 8th division, and asked impatiently, "Out. Don't talk about it. The captain asked me to practice slashing. I had to swing the sword 1,000 times. If I didn't swing it once, I would have to run around the first team 10 times. Otherwise, I would have to give me a love education. What happened next was, you know that. Lin Yu, you are famous. Now almost the entire Seraiti knows that a young Shinigami was chased away by the captain with a knife." Ba Yunjai covered his mouth and laughed. "Are all the Shinigami so laid back? It only took half a day for the news to spread all over the Seraiti. I have to say that the news spreads really fast. After a tiring day, it would be great if I could have a hot pot meal and a drink." "Hot pot? What kind of food is that? Is it delicious?" Ba Yunjai's eyes lit up when he heard the word, hot pot. It turns out that Captain Ba Yunjai is a foodie. "Captain, don't you know this way of eating? Hot pot is a way of eating in my hometown. The taste is awesome. I really miss it." Seeing Ba Yunjai's eyes gleaming and his saliva almost flowing out, Lin Yu decided to show off. "Then please ask Captain Ba Yunjai to prepare the ingredients and tools I need and let me show them to you." 2222. The hot pot is finally boiling. "Lin Yu, are you sure this is delicious? Look at the red color in the pot, almost all of it is chili pepper and red oil. It looks very spicy at first glance." Ba Yunjai looked distrustful. "Believe me, Captain, this is delicious. It's your first time eating it, I'll get you some dipping water." He poured some sesame oil into Ba Yunjai's bowl. When eating hot pot, dipping it in water and adding sesame oil is enough. The original flavor will make it delicious. Hoo. Although this hot pot is very spicy, it tastes really good." Ba Yunjai quickly picked up vegetables from the pot, and his hands were almost blurred. "Captain, slow down, no one will compete with you." Hiccup. After finishing the hot pot, the two people leaned on their chairs and rubbed their stomachs. "It feels so good to be full." Lin Yu looked satisfied. "Thank you for the treat, I will eat it next time." Ba Yunjai was also very satisfied. "By the way, Captain, you haven't told me the principles of the Zanpakuto yet." Lin Yu thought of business. "The shape, state and ability of the Zanpakuto are based on Shinigami's own soul. Shinigami gains power by knowing the name of the Zanpakuto given to him and by having a spiritual dialogue with it. This is Zanpakuto, Soul Sword. Now you have a Zanpakuto in your hand. Each sword has its own name. During the battle, Shinigami can call the name of his own sword to free the sword and release more powerful power to fight. When the Zanpakuto kills a hollow, the hollow is purified and restored to his original state. The sword should be inserted into the hollow's head. It is worth noting that each Zanpakuto has its own soul, thoughts, and personality. Don't think of it as a weapon. What is the principle of Zanpakuto Shikai? Well, Zanpakuto Shikai actually awakens the power within the sword so that it can be better controlled by the user, thereby exerting greater power. Of course, the Shikai method and ability of each Zanpakuto are unique." Ba Yunjai explained seriously. "I see, then how can I achieve Shikai?" Lin Yu asked eagerly. "This requires you to continue to practice and understand. Only when you truly understand your Zanpakuto and establish a deep connection with it can you succeed in Shikai. However, this is a long process and you cannot rush for quick success." Yunjai said earnestly. "I understand, Captain. I will work hard." Lin Yu's eyes were firm. "What about Bankai? Don't be too ambitious. Let's wait until you master Shikai first." "Captain, having said so much, I still want to know how to increase spiritual pressure. Although I now have 6th level spiritual pressure, I am still a rookie." Lin Yu urgently wanted to know how to increase spiritual pressure. "Are you a genius or an idiot? The improvement of spiritual pressure is achieved by practicing Zanpakuto." Ba Yunjai looked at Lin Yu with disgust. "Ah, I thought there were special training techniques for increasing spiritual pressure. Okay, let me first tell you how to establish a connection with your Zanpakuto. As I said just now, you need to communicate with your Zanpakuto and know its name, so that you can transform the light attack into a Zanpakuto. and use its power. If you want to successfully establish contact and communicate with the Zanpakuto, you must practice Sword Zen, which is meditation. The specific method is to place the Zanpakuto on your legs, then assume a meditating posture and start meditating. In this way, you can align your own thinking with the Zanpakuto, and gradually achieve the goal of communicating with the Zanpakuto. However, this process is very time-consuming. Usually, it may take up to 10 days, half a month or even longer to complete a Sword Zen practice. During the practice of Sword Zen, Shinigami needs to devote himself wholeheartedly to it and abandon external interference and distracting thoughts. Only when your heart is completely calm can you resonate better with the Zanpakuto. This not only tests Shinigami's perseverance and patience, but also requires them to have a high degree of concentration. During meditation, Shinigami will feel a mysterious and powerful force. This power comes from the Zanpakuto itself, but it is not a simple weapon, but an existence with independent consciousness and soul. Therefore, establishing a good communication relationship with the Zanpakuto is crucial for a good Shinigami. Of course, Sword Zen practice is not something that can be achieved overnight, it requires continuous accumulation and persistence. Every practice is a challenge and improvement for oneself. Only after a long period of hard work can one truly master the skills of dialogue with the Zanpakuto and unleash its maximum potential. In short, Sword Zen training is a long and arduous task, but as long as you persevere, your strength and spiritual pressure will also increase. Captain, can I ask how long it took you to establish communication with the Zanpakuto? Lin Yu asked curiously. He knew that it would take a certain amount of time for each Shinigami to establish a connection with their Zanpakuto, but he didn't know exactly how long it would take. Ba Yunjai raised the corner of his mouth slightly, revealing a proud smile. It only took me half a month to know the name of the Zanpakuto after I first communicated with it. Isn't that amazing? She puffed up her plump breasts proudly, as if to show her strength to Lin Yu. Lin Yu looked at Ba Yunjai in surprise, and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. So it turns out that it only took half a month for the captain to establish communication with the Zanpakuto. This speed is too fast. Okay, it's very late today. We're here. Go back and rest. You have to continue training tomorrow. When you come back, I will guide you in the training of the Zanpakuto. Ba Yunzai began to drive people away. Captain, I'll take my leave now. Lying on his bed, Lin Yu reviewed today's swordsmanship training and understanding of Zanpakuto, and slowly fell asleep. In the dream, Lin Yu came to a palace. The layout of the palace was exactly the same as that of Chinese palaces. The pillars were carved with dragons and phoenixes, and the whole palace was filled with a sense of vicissitudes of life. I saw a man in purple sitting in the main hall. He was as gentle as jade, but his face could not be seen clearly. He seemed to say something to Lin Yu, but he heard nothing. Before Lin Yu could ask any questions, the man in purple picked up the wine glass on the table, saluted him from a distance, and drank it all in one gulp. Early in the morning in the captain's room of Division 8. Captain, I saw my Zanpakuto. Lin Yu grabbed Ba Yunjai's body and shook it wildly. The big weapon on his chest shook for a while, making people restless. The sleepy-eyed Ba Yunjai was suddenly awakened by this movement. You fool, you dare to eat my tofu, go to hell. Lin Yu was awakened and kicked Ba Yunjai out of the captain's room, lying quietly on the ground along with the door of the captain's room. The soldiers of the 8th Division heard the loud noise coming from the captain's room and hurried towards the captain's room, thinking that there was some emergency. A young Shinigami and what appeared to be the door to the captain's room appeared in their eyes. The Shinigami had fainted from the look of his condition. Isn't that the Shinigami that the captain brought back a few days ago? That guy's name is Lin Yu, right? Who attacked him? Quote. With your words and my words, the soldiers who came were talking about it. After turning his head to look at the captain's room, he saw his own captain standing at the door of the captain's room, with his black hair hanging loosely on his shoulders, his face flushed, but his eyes were on fire. He was wearing only a pair of close-fitting pajamas, and even the color of the underwear under the pajamas was very obvious. Girl fan, this color really matches the captain's personality. The pajamas perfectly set off Ba Yunjai's figure. He is slender, and the outlines of the pair of large murder weapons are even more obvious. It makes people drool. Why did my eyes suddenly go blind? I didn't see anything. It's early in the morning, bad luck. Why are my ears so sharp? I wish I didn't hear anything just now. All the team members looked at this scene, used Shunpo one after another, showed their strength, and quickly left this place of right and wrong. The speed was so fast that those who didn't know thought that these people who left were captain-level Shinigami. I'm afraid the speed they showed at this time was not far behind that of the real captain. Lin Yu, I'm going to chop you down. While Ba Yunzai turned around and went back to the captain's room to get his Zanpakuto, Lin Yu, who was lying on his stomach, instantly got up and ran frantically towards the first team at a sprint speed of 100 meters. In fact, he didn't faint at all. He had witnessed everything just now, and he was just pretending to be faint to save his own life. By the way, Captain Ba Yunzai has a great figure. Lin Yu ran all the way and soon arrived at the first team. He gasped and adjusted his breathing, while secretly glad that he ran fast. This fool ran so fast. I just vaguely heard him saying that he saw his Zanpakuto. It's only been one night. It's really surprising, but if you dare to do such a rude thing to me, wait. You must take good care of him when he comes back. Ba Yunzai, who had already put on his clothes and carried his Zanpakuto, murmured to himself as he looked at the direction where Lin Yu was running, but a blush appeared on his face. Who is here? Shinigami guarding the door shouted loudly. I'm looking for Captain Yamamoto. Lin Yu said quickly. The guards looked at each other and one of them went in to report. After a while, the man came out and motioned Lin Yu to come in. Lin Yu walked into the room, and Captain Yamamoto was standing in front of the window with his back to him. Captain. Lin Yu saluted. Captain Yamamoto turned around and looked at Lin Yu, with a trace of surprise in his eyes. He smiled slightly and said, "Why are you covered in dirt?" Lin Yu took a deep breath. I was in a hurry on the way here and accidentally fell down. After hearing this, Captain Yamamoto looked at the obvious footprints on Lin Yu's clothes. He didn't say much, and then said slowly, "Kid, today I will teach you how to learn Shunpo." Captain, aren't you going to learn swordsmanship today? You have already understood the essence of swordsmanship. I have nothing more to teach you. As long as you continue to persevere, one day your swordsmanship will reach great success. Lin Yu was overjoyed and said, "Thank you very much, Captain, for the compliment." Shunpo is a technique to move the body quickly and instantaneously, relying on the control of one's own body. Among the entire Gotei 13, the most outstanding Shunpo is not only me but also the captain of the 2nd Division, Shihoin Seni. The Shihoin family has its own set of Shunpo skills. In addition to the Shunpo techniques I want to teach you, I will introduce you to the captain of Sefenjin so that you can learn Sefenjin's unique Shunpo. Lin Yu, regarding your outstanding performance yesterday, I have high hopes for you. I hope you will not disappoint me and grow up as soon as possible. Captain Yamamoto suddenly said with a heavy face. Thank you, Captain, for your cultivation. I will work hard. Yesterday when you were practicing swordsmanship, I found that your physical fitness was not strong. In today's Shunpo practice, I developed a special training method for you. Special training method. Is there any secret to practicing Shunpo? The special method I'm talking about is that I will draw my sword and chop you. After saying this, the captain smiled ferociously, pulled out his Zanpakuto and slashed at Lin Yu. Bang! Dust was flying in the first team training ground. As expected, Lin Yu was slashed away by Captain Yamamoto with a single blow. Hiss! It really hurts, but there's no bleeding. Lin Yu wailed. Captain, you don't have martial ethics. Come and steal. Come and attack this young man like me. Kid, stand up. I slashed you with the back of my sword. This is a training method specially customized for you. As long as you can avoid or block my slash, you will be considered a master of Shunpo. In the same way, if you can't block it, you'll be training your ability to fight against attacks, which will quickly improve your physical fitness. It's such a simple and crude training method. Sure enough, the simpler the method, the more effective it is. Lin Yu muttered. He climbed up from the ground with difficulty, moved his body, and found that although it hurt a little from being chopped, he was not injured. It seems that Captain Yamamoto has indeed controlled the intensity. Lin Yu took a deep breath, concentrated, and prepared for the captain's next attack. He knew that if he wanted to improve his strength, he had to go through such training. Moreover, There are not many opportunities for the captain to train in person, and this kind of training method also makes him feel excited and looking forward to it. After all, he has always longed to become stronger and become a truly strong man. As he continued to be chopped and sent flying, Lin Yu gradually adapted to this training method. He began to try different methods to dodge or block Captain Yamamoto's slashes, and also found that his reaction speed and ability to withstand beatings were slowly improving. Every time he was cut away, he would quickly get up, adjust his condition, and join the fight again. Captain Yamamoto always maintained a serious attitude and constantly put pressure on Lin Yu. He knows that only in a high-pressure environment can people's potential be stimulated. After a period of training, Lin Yu's Shunpo has made significant progress. Not only was he able to dodge Captain Yamamoto's slashes more flexibly, he was even able to successfully block them occasionally. Of course, most of the time they will still be chopped away, but at least they are no longer as helpless as they were at the beginning. Kid, go back. Today is over here. We will continue practicing tomorrow. Today's practice is finally over. After being beaten for a day, I am exhausted both physically and mentally. Captain, that. Lin Yu hesitated. Kid, if you have something to say, just say it. Can I stay in the first team today? Tell me your reasons. Well, Captain, I accidentally offended Captain Ba Yunjai this morning. If I go back now, she might draw a knife and hack me to death. I want to hide in the first team for a few days. I will go back after Captain Ba Yunjai calms down. Quote. Haha, you little brat, what did you do that would make Ba Yunjai draw his sword and chop you? Well, then you can stay here and I will ask someone to go to Ba Yunjai to let you know when you are training. He was injured by me, so he will rest in the first team for the time being. Thank you, Captain. Seeing that it was getting dark and Lin Yu hadn't come back yet, Ba Yunjai was about to go to the first team to catch this kid back. Suddenly, the messenger from the first team came and told her that Lin Yu was practicing today when she was injured. She stayed in the first team so that she didn't have to worry about herself. You brat, you dare to use the captain as a shield. I don't believe you will never come back to the 8th division again. Just wait, when you come back and I don't beat you until you can't take care of yourself, I won't call you Shikatori Bakumo. Jai. Ba Yunjai was so angry that he gritted his teeth, clenched his fists and swore secretly. Achoo! Achoo! Lin Yu sneezed twice in a row while lying on the bed. Could it be that Captain Ba Yunjai missed me? Come again. Bang! The sound of two swords striking each other kept coming. After several days of practice, Lin Yu was no longer in a passive state of being beaten. Although the number of hits was still high, he was gradually able to fight back and forth with the captain. Kid, you have made great progress. Shunpo and physical fitness have improved a lot, the captain said with appreciation. Lin Yu smiled. Thank you, Captain, for the compliment, but compared with you, I'm still far behind. The captain laughed. Kid, don't be humble. With your current strength, you can already take charge of your own business. By the way, what do you want from me? Lin Yu said seriously. Captain, I would like to apply for a few days of leave. Now I feel that my swordsmanship has reached a bottleneck. I am going to go to Rukongai to sharpen my soul and completely make my swordsmanship into a human swordsmanship. The state of oneness. The captain nodded. Well, your idea is good. But Rukongai is not an easy place to mess around. There is a mixture of fish and dragons there, and various forces are complicated. You should deal with it carefully. Lin Yu said confidently. Don't worry, Captain, I will pay attention to safety. And I believe that this trip to Rukongai will definitely take my swordsmanship to a higher level. The captain said with satisfaction. Okay, I have approved your request. With your current level of swordsmanship and shunpo, there is no problem in self-protection. I hope that when you come back from your travels, your swordsmanship has reached the point of entering the palace. Lin Yu said gratefully. Thank you, Captain, I will definitely live up to your expectations. Then I'll resign. After saying that, Lin Yu turned around and left. Wait a minute, kid, the captain suddenly called him. The captain is really a fickle person. Did he change his mind about what he just promised? Seeing Lin Yu's sad expression, Captain Yamamoto didn't think of anything. Lin Yu turned back with a stiff face. Is there anything else, Captain? The captain smiled and said, I haven't issued you a pass to enter the Seraiti yet. Otherwise, how will you come back after you go out? Ah, I almost forgot about this. Lin Yu's expression changed instantly. Oops, that speed is comparable to that of a face-changing master. And let me remind you again, when you arrive at Rukongai, don't cause trouble casually. If you encounter dangers that are difficult to deal with, you must send a rescue signal to the Gote 13 team in a timely manner. Lin Yu said movedly, "Thank you, Captain, for your concern. I will remember it. Today is a good day. Everything you wish for can come true." Lin Yu, holding the pass, went out humming a tune. In fact, when Lin Yu traveled to Seraiti, he not only wanted to practice swordsmanship but also to hide from Unsai. Ba Yunjai has come to the first team several times, although he has been blocked by the captain every time. But there are also times when the captain is away, and if he can't protect himself, he will be dragged out and chopped by Ba Yunjai one day. Don't think about it so much. Rukongai, here I come. On the first day I was born in Soul Society, I was taken to the Seraiti by Captain Hakansai. I had not experienced the scenery of Rukongai yet, so I had to take a good stroll before going back this time. The last time I entered the Seraiti, I came from the Kure North Gate. This time, let's go out from the White Road West Gate. When I watched the anime before, Kurosaki, Ichigo and his group always walked through the White Gate every time they entered the Seraiti. Way Gate, I just happened to go and get to know Irasaka Danbo. Speaking of which, people in the Shinigami world have really long lifespans. It's still more than 1,000 years before the main storyline of Shinigami begins, and the White Way Gate is already guarded by the Danbo. It's really possible to live. Stop, comers, tell us your purpose. A burly figure appeared in front of the White Way Gate. You are Si Danfang, right? I am Lin Yu from the 8th Division. I have a mission to go to Rukongai. This is the captain's order. It turns out it's Shinigami-sama who is on a mission to Rukongai. I'll open the White Way Gate right away. Thank you, Si Danfang. Also, I'm not an adult, I'm just an ordinary Shinigami. Just call me Lin Yu. Okay, Master Lin Yu. Si Danfang still looked very cautious. It seems that it will be impossible to correct him for a while, and he will not be so cautious when he has more contact with him in the future. Rumble. With the opening of the White Way Gate, Lin Yu walked out of the Seraiti. The first thing you need to do after leaving the Seraiti is to control your own spiritual pressure. In the Seraiti, they are all Shinigami. The escaped spiritual pressure has no effect on the Shinigami. However, it is different in Rukongai. After all, ordinary souls, but it cannot withstand the shock of Shinigami's spiritual pressure. The escaped spiritual pressure will cause the soul to be injured at least, and will cause the soul to die directly at worst. Just as Lin Yu started his journey in Rukongai. Is Lin Yu here? I'm here to take him back to the 8th Division. Ba Yunjai persevered and came to the 1st Division again. Captain Ba Yunjai, Lin Yu has applied to travel to Rukongai. A team member said helplessly. Captain Ba Yunjai really cares about his subordinates. What? When did he go? He just went out for a while. You actually went to Rukongai to hide from me. Do you know which door he went out through? Ba Yunjai gritted his teeth in anger. I don't know that. Forget it, I'll go find him myself. Why do you think Banjai doesn't need a pass to leave the Seraiti? Please, she is the captain, the bosses have the authority to enter and leave the Seraiti, okay. After searching 2 doors, Ba Yunjai finally got the news that Lin Yu was out at the White Way Gate. Lin Yu shuttled among the crowd in Rukongai, it's so lively. Seraiti doesn't smell like fireworks. For Soul Society, Rukongai is actually the main one. As the political and military center, Seraiti has only a minority of personnel. Now that we're out, let's go and experience the wonderful scenery of Soul Society. Suddenly, a powerful spiritual pressure came from a village behind him, and Lin Yu instinctively held down his Zanpakuto. This spiritual pressure really gives people an uncomfortable feeling. It's heavy and depressing. Lin Yu turned his head and looked at the direction where the spiritual pressure came from, and saw a black crack suddenly appeared in the sky. The powerful spiritual pressure sweeping out from the cracks. At the same time, a large face wearing a mask with a long nose poked out from the crack. Lin Yu's pupils shrank. This huge body, this iconic shape, turned out to be a Jillian. Although Jillian Daxu is the lowest existence among the biggest hollows and has a low IQ, he is also a genuine Daxu. I just got lucky. As soon as I came out, I met a big head. After weighing the Zanpakuto, Lin Yu decided to have a chance to touch this Daxu and use it to measure his current strength. I have been practicing, but I haven't really made a move yet. Lin Yu immediately released his spiritual pressure, preparing to attract this big Shu. Compared with ordinary souls, Shu prefers to devour Shinigami with spiritual pressure. The more they swallow, the faster they evolve. I am so kind. In order to save the ordinary souls in the village, I lured Daxu here alone and rewarded myself with a good person card. How shameless. Oh, Tui. Lin Yu held the sword in both hands and looked firmly at Daxu in front of him. My spiritual pressure has now been raised to the 6th level, and I have studied swordsmanship and shunpo with Captain Yamamoto for such a long time. It shouldn't be possible to kill Jillian alone. Question. Lin Yu took a deep breath, full of confidence. Lin Yu suddenly drew his sword, and with a whoosh sound piercing the air, his figure instantly disappeared from the place. The next moment, he appeared in front of the big void like a ghost. Without any hesitation, Lin Yu waved the Zanpakuto in his hand and slashed towards Daxu. However, Daxu's reaction speed is also quite fast. It roared and quickly stretched out its huge claws, easily blocking Lin Yu's attack. Only a crisp sound of dang was heard, and the two collided, causing a splash of sparks. Interesting Shinigami, you came to my door before I even laid a hand on you. In that case, let me devour you. Daxu let out a low roar, with a greedy light shining in his eyes. It opened its bloody mouth and prepared to swallow Lin Yu in one gulp. Lin Yu sideways dodged Daxu's attack, and at the same time slashed at Daxu's leg with his knife. But Daxu's skin was as hard as iron, and the Zanpakuto only left a shallow scar on its surface. When Daxu saw this, it became even more angry. It rushed towards Lin Yu crazily, and Lin Yu kept using shunpo to dodge, looking for opportunities to fight back. Lin Yu took out his knife again and slashed Shu's body. No, this touch felt like cutting into the air. Daxu's figure disappeared out of thin air. Lin Yu instantly turned around and blocked Zanpaku in front of him. Daxu's figure suddenly appeared behind him and slapped Lin Yu away with a claw. Impossible, it's actually a ring. Lin Yu, who flew out, had not yet reacted. A huge red flash began to condense in Daxu's mouth, and the flash went straight towards Lin Yu. Void flash. Misjudgment, this is a big void that is about to evolve into a Chuka's, not an ordinary Jillian. Lin Yu adjusted his posture in the air, and after landing, he rolled several times to relieve his strength. Boom! The virtual flash hit Lin Yu directly, and was blown away as soon as he landed. After breaking an unknown number of trees, he finally stopped. Puff! A mouthful of blood spurted out, and the Death Tyrant costume on his body became tattered. Lin Yu, who struggled to get up, looked at Daxu in the distance and felt unprecedented pressure. This is going to be difficult. Maybe I'll explain it here. Lin Yu thought with a frown. It's pretty good, Shinigami. You survived such an attack. You deserve to know my name. Listen up, the one who killed you is Razak, a man who is about to become Yachuka's great existence. Lazak turned around and bullied him again, preparing to finish off Lin Yu completely. Facing this blow, Lin Yu concentrated his energy and released all his spiritual pressure without reservation. Suddenly, the surrounding air seemed to become solemn. If you try hard, you may die here today. Lin Yu also gripped the Zanpakuto and rushed towards Daxu. His speed is extremely fast, like lightning. A few rays of blue light also appeared on the Zanpakuto's blade, as if it was roaring like thunder. This time Lin Yu was already prepared. With his keen insight, he predicted the position of Daxu and slashed towards the void. In an instant, blood splattered everywhere. Lin Yu's body was cut with a large gash by Lazak's sharp claws, and Daxu's body was chopped off at the waist and fell to the ground. Looking at the stunned look on Razak's face, which was slowly dissipating, Lin Yu endured the pain and said with a smile, Lazak, right. The one who killed you was Shinigami Lin Yu. He is destined to become the greatest captain in Soul Society in the future. Lin Yu panted heavily, looking at Daxu that turned into nothingness, and his heart was filled with a sense of accomplishment. Hiss. It hurts. He glanced at the hideous wound on his chest, and blood was still pouring out. It's really embarrassing, but I finally survived, Lin Yu said to himself. At this time, Lin Yu suddenly felt tired. He realized that the battle just now had almost exhausted his physical strength and spiritual pressure. I have to find a place to recover quickly. Lin Yu dragged his tired body and was about to leave, but his head felt dizzy and he fell to the ground. In a dazed state, Lin Yu seemed to hear the voice of Captain Ba Yunjai. Is it an auditory hallucination? Why is Ba Yunjai here? At the moment when he fainted, Lin Yu seemed to really see Ba Yunjai running towards him. Then he seemed to be picked up by someone, with his head still leaning on something soft and smelling good. Yu unconsciously pushed her head inward, it was so comfortable. You fool, you're so seriously injured and you're still acting like a hooligan. I'll chop you down when you recover. Ba Yunjai rushed towards Saraiti with Lin Yu, who was already unconscious, in his arms. It's just that the picture is too inconsistent. Ba Yunjai is already petite, and holding the tall Lin Yu, with Lin Yu's head buried in Ba Yunjai's chest, is really eye-catching. In fact, Ba Yunjai noticed it when Lin Yu and Daxu were fighting. After all, it was difficult not to attract attention when such a powerful spiritual pressure burst out in Rukongai, not to mention that she was very familiar with Lin Yu's spiritual pressure. When Ba Yunjai arrived, he happened to see Lin Yu killing Daxu, but he was also seriously injured and fainted. The day passed like this. Lin Yu slowly opened his eyes and found himself in the captain's room of the 8th Division. He tried to sit up, but felt a sharp pain in his chest. What are you moving about? Your injury is not healed yet. Ba Yunjai's voice came. Lin Yu looked up and saw Ba Yunjai. Remembering what happened after he fainted, he glanced at the milky white shuizi and couldn't help but blush, but it was so soft. I really miss that feeling. You were lucky this time. If it were a normal Shinigami, I'm afraid you would have died a long time ago. That is the Daxu that is about to evolve into Yachukas, Ba Yunjai said sternly. Seeing Lin Yu's eyes falling on his chest again, Ba Yunjai punched Lin Yu in the head again. It hurts, I'm a wounded person, Captain. However, Lin Yu still said gratefully, thank you, Ba Yunjai. I will pay attention to it next time. Please call me Captain Ba Yunjai. Ba Yunjai suddenly blushed and his voice rose 8 degrees. HMPH, don't let it happen again. By the way, about that big shoe. I have reported it to Captain Yamamoto, and he will take care of it. Just take good care of your injuries. Ba Yunjai said and handed Lin Yu a document. This is your mission report. I have written it for you and handed it in. Central 46 spoke highly of your act of killing Daxu alone, and I have decided to make an exception and promote you to deputy captain after you recover. Have you alerted Central 46? But I haven't even learned Shikai yet, so can I be promoted to vice captain? That was a big void that was about to evolve into a Chukas. You killed it alone. Do you think you killed some small character? Besides, it was an exceptional promotion, exceptional. It doesn't matter if you don't know Shikai yet. Quote. Lin Yu immediately showed a surprised look, and then turned to joy. Thank you, Ba Yunjai. I will work hard. Ba Yunjai looked at Lin Yu. A trace of panic flashed in his eyes. You performed very well this time, but you must also protect yourself. I don't want you to have any accidents again. Lin Yu nodded, secretly determined in his heart to become stronger and never let Ba Yunjai worry again. Ba Yunjai, I think I have recovered. Can you remove the bandage? Lin Yu, who had just been fed a large bowl of broth by Ba Yunjai, spoke. He looked at the bandages all over his body, tied like a dumpling, and felt helpless. These days, he has been treated as a seriously injured patient, but in fact, his body has already recovered as before. Oh, Lin Yu, are you really okay? Ba Yunjai had a little distrust in his eyes. She looked at Lin Yu carefully, as if she wanted to find a flaw in his expression. However, Lin Yu's face was filled with determination and confidence. In fact, all this is Ba Yunjai's calculation. She deliberately bandaged Lin Yu so tightly just to let him taste the feeling of being restrained. After all, Lin Yu always disobeyed her before. This time, she wanted to teach this disobedient fool a lesson. Thinking of the previous attack on the chest, Ba Yunjai pinched the flesh of Lin Yu's waist with his hands and rotated it 180 degrees. It hurts. Ba Yunjai, please let go. Lin Yu broke out in cold sweat from the pain. Woman, you really hold a grudge. It seems you're not healed yet. Ba Yunjai looked at Lin Yu with a smile. Faced with Ba Yunjai's doubts, Lin Yu felt dumbfounded. He knew that Ba Yunjai was deliberately trying to embarrass him. But he was not angry. Instead, he thought Ba Yunjai was cute like this. Finally, at Lin Yu's strong request, Ba Yunjai removed the bandages on his body. When the bandages were untied layer by layer, Lin Yu felt unprecedentedly relaxed. He moved his limbs and found that his body had completely returned to normal. After half a month of recuperation, Lin Yu finally got rid of the bandage that was tied like rice dumplings. During this period, although he could not move freely, he still enjoyed the meticulous care of Ba Yunjai. This feeling of being cared for made him feel very warm. In fact, Lin Yu's injury was not that serious. It was mainly due to exhaustion of spiritual pressure and loss of strength. However, Ba Yunjai turned him into a dumpling and never cared about his life. Although this kind of life is very comfortable, Lin Yu still feels very uncomfortable when he lies in bed for a long time and cannot move. In the first few days, Lin Yu felt quite enjoying it. He doesn't have to do anything, he just needs to rest in peace and recuperate. But as time went by, he gradually became bored. He could only lie in bed and stare at the ceiling in a daze every day, which was simply a kind of torture for him. Now, Lin Yu can finally move freely again. He stretched and felt the strength of his body gradually return. Why don't you ask the 4th Division to treat you with Kaido when you're injured? Come on, the concept of Kaido didn't even exist in the Gote 13,000s of years ago. The 4th Division only became a medical team after the battle with the Quincy. I'm finally liberated. After lying down for so long, I'd better go see Captain Yamamoto first. Lin Yu, who broke free, talked to Ba Yunjai and ran away quickly. Ba Yunjai didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I let you go, but you are still afraid that I will bring you back again. Vice Captain Lin Yu. On the way to the first team, the Shinigami who saw Lin Yu greeted him warmly. It seems that the fact that he killed the one who was about to evolve into Ichuka's Daxu has been spread throughout the Seraiti. Now I am no longer a little Kurami. I have been in the Shinigami world for so long, and I finally have some ability to protect myself. Captain, I'm here to report again. Kid, you performed very well. You can kill a Daxu of this level with only swordsmanship and shunpo. I have been teaching you for a long time. But your Shikai learning process should be accelerated. As for Kido with white hits, learn slowly. I understand, Captain. Lin Yu saluted. You came to me this time not just to report, right? Yamamoto Yuan Zonguo was very perceptive and saw through Lin Yu's thoughts at once. Hey, Captain Yingming, I just wanted to ask about Shikai. Lin Yu scratched his head. I feel like I should be able to Shikai soon. Yamamoto Shigekuni glanced at him. Oh. Have you reached the threshold of Shikai? Regarding Shikai, Bonsai should have told you in detail. Lin Yu nodded. Captain Ba Yunzai did tell me the principles and methods of Shikai in detail. Before that, I had seen what seemed to be my Zanpakuto materializing in my sleep, and this time within the battle between Daxu, I was originally at a disadvantage. In the end, my Zanpakuto showed a hint of liberating power, and I was able to kill that guy. But it was a blessing in disguise, and my spiritual pressure level also broke through to the 5th level. Quote. Tell me in detail what you saw in your sleep and how you killed Daxu. Captain Yamamoto also became interested after hearing this. Lin Yu described to the captain the scene he saw in his sleep and the blue light emerging from the Zanpakuto blade and the faint thunderous roar that finally killed Daxu. It seems that Lin Yu, your Zanpakuto is of the thunder type. The lightning type Zanpakuto is very lethal. Based on what you said, you are now just one step away from successfully communicating with the Zanpakuto before you learn Shikai. So, in your current situation, you have reached the 5th level before you have mastered Shikai spiritual pressure. After Shikai, your combat power should be comparable to that of an average captain. Well, there is one more thing. Captain Yamamoto paused. I heard that your relationship with Captain Bonsai was a little abnormal. After you were injured, Bonsai carried you and rushed back to Seraiti. But there are many Shinigami. See, the previous Ba Yunjai would never have been so intimate with any Shinigami. Lin Yu's heart skipped a beat. Does the captain even care about such a thing? Yes, Captain. Lin Yu answered bravely. HMPH, I don't want to interfere with your young people's affairs, but don't affect your work. If I find that you delayed the mission due to personal feelings, don't forget the nature of the Gote 13, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. Yamamoto the captain warned. Yes, I promise not, Captain. Lin Yu quickly agreed. Actually, it's good that you and Ba Yunzai can be together. This is a happy event for the Gote 13. Lin Yu, come on. When you and Ba Yunzai get married, I will personally be your witness. Captain Yamamoto said. He said this with a serious face. Ha, Captain, where are you now? You haven't even said your horoscope yet. It seems that the captain also has some potential for comedy. After Lin Yu left the first team, he went directly to Ba Yunjai. He had so many questions to ask her, about Shikai, about her relationship with him. After Lin Yu returned to the 8th Division, Ba Yunjai. Lin Yu stood in front of Ba Yunjai, a little nervous. Ba Yunjai looked at him, with a hint of imperceptible tenderness flashing in his eyes. What's wrong, Lin Yu? My Shikai, how can I do it? Lin Yu gate of opening came to the point. Ba Yunjai smiled slightly. Don't worry, you are very close. Try to feel your Zanpakuto and listen to its name, it will guide you. Lin Yu nodded, closed his eyes, concentrated, and practiced sword Zen again. After a moment, he seemed to hear a faint thunder, which came from deep inside his heart. Is this my Zanpakuto? Lin Yu opened his eyes, with a firm light shining in his eyes. Ba Yunjai looked at him and nodded with satisfaction. Yes, that's it. You have taken the first step. Lin Yu glanced at Ba Yunjai gratefully. Thank you, Ba Yunjai. Between us, we don't need to be so polite. Ba Yunjai's tone was a little strange, and she turned her head. By the way, from now on, be more careful in front of others. Lin Yu was stunned for a moment, then understood what she meant. He smiled awkwardly. I know, Captain Ba Yunjai. Chapter 11. I still haven't successfully communicated with the Zanpakuto. I have been practicing sword meditation for several days. Lin Yu felt a little irritable. Take your time. Sword Zen requires meditation. Your impatient mentality will not succeed. Ba Yunjai comforted Lin Yu. Hey, let's eat hot pot first. Ever since Lin Yu made hot pot for Ba Yunjai fell in love with this delicacy. He eats hot pot at least 4 days a week. The spicy hot pot is accompanied by order some wine. It's really an enviable day. As a result, the members of the 8th Division now live this kind of life. I am very grateful to Deputy Captain Lin Yu for inventing the delicacy of hot pot. Cheers. Lin Yu held the cup and started drinking with Ba Yunjai. Ba Yunjai, let's have a captain's party sometime. It's just the two of us eating hot pot and it feels so deserted. Food should be shared. Take the time to invite the commander-in-chief as having hot pot with other squad captains, and I just want to get to know these captains. Quote. Your suggestion is good. It's time for you to get to know the captains of other divisions. Lin Yu, please work hard and learn Shikai. We will have a sorority party on the day you can succeed in Shikai. During this period, Lin Yu studied Kido and White Hits with Captain Yamamoto in the 1st Division during the day, and returned to the 8th Division at night to continue practicing Sword Zen. He felt exhausted both physically and mentally. Let's continue the sword meditation. Lin Yu entered a state of trance again. Perhaps because he had a few drinks today, the sword meditation went particularly smoothly. You're finally here. A voice sounded in Lin Yu's ears. In an instant, Lin Yu came to the palace he saw in his dream last time. The man was sitting on the throne of the main hall. Last time, Lin Yu didn't take a closer look. There were traces of lightning wrapped around the pillars of the main hall. The dome of the main hall was still transparent. He raised his head. Looking up, the sky is full of stars above the dome, and the man on the throne is dressed in purple, looking extremely mysterious. This time Lin Yu finally saw the man's face clearly. The man was about 30 years old, with a resolute face. He was sitting on the throne without any movement, but he felt a pressure coming towards his face. Sit down. Do you want a drink? The man in purple waved his hand and a table appeared in front of Lin Yu. Are you my Zanpakuto? Lin Yu asked, sitting down cross-legged and taking a sip from the wine glass. Zanpakuto, interesting name, you can think so. After all, you can use my power. The man in purple thought about it. Then I have your approval. Can you tell me your name? If I get your approval, I can Shikai. Lin Yu asked eagerly. Don't worry, Lin Yu, what do you think my power is? The man in purple asked with a smile. Your power, if I guessed correctly, it should be the power of thunder. Lin Yu looked at the thunder that appeared from time to time in the hall and gave his answer. That's right, I do have the power of thunder. As for my name, the man in purple thought for a while, just call me Thunder Emperor. Let's call you Lady. Do you have any other names? Lin Yu asked Lady dissatisfied. Okay, this exchange is over. As for the Shikai you mentioned, you can master it after you go out. Go back. If you want to see me again, just call my name in your heart, and you will see me again. After Lady said this, he drove Lin Yu back. Hey, Thunder Emperor, I still have a lot of things to ask you. Before he could finish speaking, Lin Yu returned to reality. Really, you are driving people away in such a hurry, forget it, I will do it next time, ask clearly. After waking up from the sword Zen state, Lin Yu opened his eyes and a flash of thunder flashed in his eyes. The spiritual pressure in his body suddenly increased sharply, from the 5th level to the 4th level, and then from the 4th level to the 3rd level, and it is still there. There is an upward trend. No, it's so outrageous. Is my spiritual pressure going to break into the 2nd level? Facts have proved that Lin Yu thought too much, and his spiritual pressure gradually stabilized and stopped when it climbed to the 3rd level peak. When Lin Yu's spiritual pressure was rising crazily, Ba Yunjai immediately rushed into Lin Yu's room. Lin Yu, you have learned Shikai. Did your spiritual pressure escape after Shikai just now? No, I did learn Shikai, but I haven't released the Zanpakuto yet. My own spiritual pressure just increased. After listening to Lin Yu's words, Ba Yunjai looked like he'd seen a ghost. You're lying. You mean you've reached the peak of the 3rd level before you've released your Zanpakuto's spiritual pressure? You're a monster, right? It's really too much. It hits people. You said you have mastered Shikai, then show me your Shikai. I want to know how outrageous your spiritual pressure will be after you Shikai. Ba Yunjai couldn't wait for Lin Yu to perform Shikai as soon as possible. After Lin Yu followed Ba Yunjai to the training ground of the 8th team. Under the starry sky, thunder shakes the 9 heavens, and the thunder of the gods kills gods and demons. Liberate, Thunder Emperor Sword. As Lin Yu read out the Zanpakuto's liberation spirit, the shape of the Zanpakuto in his hand also changed. The Zanpakuto turned into a simple Chinese-style long sword. The sword body showed a deep purple color, and the sword body was engraved with thunder and lightning patterns, shining with silver-purple light. The hilt is made of star meteorite, inlaid with a thunderstone that can gather the power of thunder and lightning, and a mysterious rune is carved on the end of the hilt. The scabbard is decorated with purple and gold, and the scabbard is engraved with patterns of stars in the sky. Is this your Zanpakuto, Lin Yu? The power of the Royal Thunderbolt is really chilling. Ba Yunjai was stunned. After liberation, Lin Yu's spiritual pressure instantly reached the 2nd level, and the powerful aura shocked even Saraiti. At this moment, several figures rushed over like lightning, their bodies exuding suffocating spiritual pressure. The captain and the captains of other divisions of the Gotei 13 arrived one after another. It's amazing. I thought who was Bankai in the Saraiti. The captain of the 2nd division, Shifun Seni, said in amazement. This kid is worthy of the name of a genius. He learned Shikai so quickly, and judging from the spiritual pressure, he is now qualified to fight captain-level beings. If he masters Bankai in the future, maybe he can really reach my level. Realm. Captain Yamamoto couldn't help but express his heartfelt emotion. Lin Yu, put your liberation away. The captain looked around and said slowly. Yes, Captain. Upon hearing this, Lin Yu immediately put away the liberated state of his Zanpakuto, and his violent spiritual pressure also returned to calm. Originally, I planned to wait for Lin Yu to learn Shikai, and invite the captain and other captains to come to our 8th division for a social gathering so that he could get to know everyone. I didn't expect that this kid's Shikai would make such a big fuss. I'm really sorry, Ba Yunjai explained with a smile. After hearing Ba Yunjai's words, everyone smiled knowingly. Although Lin Yu's Shikai caused quite a stir, such things are not uncommon for these captain-level beings. However, after understanding Lin Yu's origin and training time, they were amazed by Lin Yu's potential and strength, and they were full of expectations for this young Shinigami. Bonsai, you really have picked up a real genius for our Gotei 13 team. Saito, the captain of the 6th Division who is close to Bonsai, said with a smile. Okay, don't talk so much now, go to my captain's room. Lin Yu and I will entertain you well, and it won't be too late for everyone to praise this kid. Ba Yunjai led the captains of each team from the front. Lin Yu walked at the end of the crowd and walked to the captain's room of the 8th Division. In the deep and quiet night of Soul Society, the 8th Division was brightly lit, and an impromptu sorority party was being held. During the day, Lin Yu used a powerful shikai to alarm the captains of the Gotei 13th Division. Jai was planning to hold a banquet for the captains of each division after Lin Yu learned shikai. Who knew he would make such a big fuss? After the captains of each division arrived, Ba Yunjai proposed to hold a banquet. It was also to celebrate Lin Yu's acquisition of shikai. Cheers, Lin Yu, this delicacy you invented is really delicious. What are you thinking in your head? I really want to take slices of your brain and study it, blah blah blah. Are all the people in Division 12 feet crazy? There shouldn't be a technology development bureau established yet. They all like to study this and that. Lin Yu's hand suddenly froze while he was toasting. If you don't know how to speak, shut up and eat your flesh. Captain Ohana Danjiro of the 5th Division said unceremoniously to the concubine of Zenjoji Temple. Captain Ohana really doesn't understand humor. Humor, fart humor. Then the two captains started fighting each other. When Lin Yu was still worried about the two captains quarreling, Ba Yunjai pulled him and whispered, "Leave them alone. These two have been bickering for hundreds of years. Just get used to it." Everyone, Captain Yamamoto spoke. The captains all sat upright, waiting for the captain's instructions. Well, there's no need to be so serious. The Gotei 13 hasn't been so festive for a long time. Today is a happy day thanks to Ba Yunzai's invitation and Lin Yu's invention of hot pot. Let's have a drink together. The captains who thought the captain was going to say something to maintain the peace of Soul Society and the glory of the Gotei 13 all laughed out loud. It seems that the captain is also very happy today. Lin Yu hurriedly toasted to the captain again. Shinigami's lifespan is very long. In this still slightly chaotic era, the captains spend most of their time performing tasks everywhere, and their lives are very ordinary. Although the captains of the Gotei 13 are here, they are considered corpses. The top combat power in the soul world, but there is also the risk of falling. Troubled times, a fascinating but dangerous era. Survival of the fittest, the cruelty of evolution is unabashedly reflected at this moment. It's not easy to sit together and have such a happy gathering. Amid laughter, everyone raised their glasses. Lin Yu looked at these respectable captains and felt a warmth in his heart. After 3 rounds of wine and 5 flavors of food, the captains began to chat. They talked about their experiences and shared interesting stories from the battle. By the way, Lin Yu. Captain Yamamoto suddenly looked at him. Now that you have learned Shikai, it's time to take on your responsibilities as a Shinigami. Under the protection of Ba Yunzai, I will be very important to your growth. Say it's disadvantageous. Lin Yu was stunned for a moment, then said firmly, I understand, Captain, I will use this power to protect the order of Soul Society and protect the people around me. After learning Kido and White Hits, I am going to go to Hueco Mundo, further hone your Shikai and prepare for your own practice. Captain Yamamoto nodded with satisfaction. Very good. I like you, Lin Yu. At this time, a breeze blew by, bringing with it a bit of coolness. But in this lively atmosphere, everyone's heart is full of hope and fighting spirit. Captain Saito, who was slightly drunk, leaned towards Lin Yu and said with a smile on his face, Lin Yu, how far have you and Ba Yunjai developed? I heard about your injury before. Ba Yunjai carried you all the way back to Seraiti, and kept guarding you when you were unconscious. It's not common for her to look anxious. Quote, it's nothing, Captain Saito. Ba Yunjai is just caring about his subordinates. We have nothing to do with it. Lin Yu argued with a red neck, Captain Saito, you drank too much. Yeah. I heard something. Hachi, Yun, Jai. Captain Saito read out word by word, it has reached such an intimate level. Lin Yu, you know, besides Mr. Captain, I and Hana, if anyone in the Gotei 13 dares to call her by her name, she would have already stabbed someone, right? Yakiru. It's true, Xiao Linyu. Captain Ujawa looked at Saito kindly, as if he was dissatisfied with dragging her into the water. Captain Saito, you must have drunk too much. I was talking about Captain Ba Yunjai just now. Lin Yu was still making a weak defense. You're not shy, are you? Xiao Lin Yu, how about I get Ba Yunjai drunk tonight, hee. Saito was still teasing Lin Yu with a smirk on his face. I don't know if it was because of drunkenness or shyness, but Lin Yu's face was like a monkey's butt, extremely red. Hey, you two, stop bullying Lin Yu. If you keep talking, I will chop you with a knife. Maybe it's because he drank too much, but Ba Yunjai, who usually rarely speaks, also spoke secretly. When they got up, the three of them argued over the topic of Lin Yu, and became blushing and thick-necked. I'm not talking about your Lin Yu. If you quarrel with Saito, don't rely on me. When Ba Yunjai and Saito were having a heated argument, Mao Jihua suddenly interrupted. Ah, I can't bear it. I can't bear it. I want to duel with you. Draw your swords, Saito, Yakiru. Either I will hack you two to death today, or you will hack me to death, come on. Lin Yu hurriedly hugged Ba Yunjai and said, calm down, Ba Yunjai, you drank too much. If you have anything to do, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Be obedient. Ah, let me go, I will chop these two nonsense fools to death. Ba Yunjai, who was hugged by Lin Yu, was still struggling. Hey, Saito and Unohana expressed disdain at the same time. You two just act. I'll be here to watch how long you act. Saito didn't forget to hit the target. An angry woman is really scary. This thought came to the captain who was watching the battle and watching the fun. As the fight ended, the captains started drinking again. The glasses were exchanged, and the time soon reached late at night. The captains of each team also said goodbye. The time for gathering was always short. After a while, Lin Yu and Ba Yunjai were left in the 8th team. Lin Yu, talk to me, what kind of person do you think I am? The drunken Ba Yunjai looked at the man he picked up from Rukongai. The first person I met when I first arrived in Soul Society was you. At first, I just thought you were a powerful Shinigami. You brought me to Seraiti just because you took a fancy to my talent. After getting along with you these days, I feel you are a gentle person, and I can't tell whether I like you or not. Captain, what do you think? Lin Yu turned to look at Ba Yunjai beside him. I don't know when. Ba Yunjai fell asleep. Really, I don't know if you heard what I just said. Looking at Ba Yunjai sleeping soundly, Lin Yu accidentally pinched her cheek, which was soft and warm. Ba Yunjai subconsciously grabbed Lin Yu's hand and leaned against him. You look so cute like this. Lin Yu drank a few more drinks alone. The night breeze blew from outside the open door of the captain's room. The sleepiness came with the drunkenness. Lin Yu fell asleep next to Ba Yunjai. Really, the captain and the deputy captain don't know how to restrain themselves. A member of the 8th Division who was patrolling early in the morning covered his face with his hands when he passed the captain's room. The door to the captain's room of the 8th Division was opened, and Ba Yunjai and Lin Yu were lying on the ground, sleeping soundly. After gently closing the door to the captain's room, the patrolling soldiers quickly fled the area. Well, I haven't had such a comfortable sleep in a long time. Ba Yunjai, who was about to stretch out, suddenly found that he couldn't stretch his hands. After opening his hazy eyes, he found himself lying in Lin Yu's arms and looking around. After a moment, the door closed. After confirming that there was no one else in the captain's room, he breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, no one saw it. It's really embarrassing. After waking up, Ba Yunjai moved his body and tried to break free from Lin Yu's arms. Don't move, Ba Yunjai. Sleep well. Ba Yunjai was startled when he heard Lin Yu's voice. Fortunately, I was talking in my sleep. Ba Yunjai pushed Lin Yu with his hand and found that he had no reaction. Sneaking out of Lin Yu's arms, he quietly escaped from his captain's room. When Lin Yu woke up, it was already 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, my head hurts. If I had known, I wouldn't have drank so much last night. Where did Ba Yunjai go? Let's go to the first team first. We still have to learn Kido and white hits. Time is really tight. Lin Yu explained to the team members on duty and hurried to the first team. Oh, it came so fast. I thought you would take a day off. Before Lin Yu could say anything, Captain Yamamoto directly handed him 3 books, Kido Spell Encyclopedia, White Hits Techniques, Notes on Haweko Mundo. These are some books I wrote. Read it yourself. Also, Don't die in Hueco Mundo. Hey, what's going on? The captain is really perfunctory. Lin Yu was sent back not long after he arrived at the first team. Lin Yu, please pay attention to safety in Hueco Mundo. This is not a Rukongai tour. If something happens, no one can save you. I will wait for you to come back and eat hot pot. Ba Yunjai explained with seriousness. I got it, just wait for me to come back with peace of mind. Lin Yu pulled out his Zanpakuto, opened the black cavity, and embarked on the journey to Hueco Mundo. After passing through the black cavity, Lin Yu finally stepped into Hueco Mundo. As far as the eye can see, the surroundings are desolate, with no streets and no buildings, only a white desert-like desolate ground and dead trees everywhere. A moon hangs in the black sky, stars are shining, and there is no day in Hueco Mundo, only night. The environment is really incompatible with Soul Society. The only advantage is that the concentration of spirit particles in Hueco Mundo's atmosphere is much higher than that in Soul Society, and my strength can be greatly improved. While Lin Yu was still sighing, a Shu rushed towards him. For the spirit child in Hueco Mundo, the taste of Shinigami is much better. After pulling out his Zanpakuto to deal with the attacking hollow, Lin Yu suddenly ran into trouble. Hueco Mundo is so big that he has no items that he can locate, and he doesn't know where he is now. Furthermore, fighting these ordinary virtual beings has no sharpening effect at all. Let's read these 3 books given by the captain first. Looking through the Encyclopedia of Kido Spells, Lin Yu learned that the principle of Kido is a technique for using spiritual pressure. By controlling spiritual pressure, he can launch long-distance attacks, defend and restrain. Why is there no record of the principle and use of Kaido? How to use it? It seems that the only way to learn Kaido is to go back to the Gote 13 and ask Captain Unohana for advice. After all, Kaido is not popular yet. Quote, Lin Yu sorted out his thoughts, and then he looked for ordinary virtual ones to practice the use of Kido. To strengthen the proficiency in using Kido, Zayushu was not worth using his own sword at all. After determining the direction of his practice, Lin Yu began to wander around in Hueco Mundo with his goals. The sweep of Hueco Mundo has officially begun. Rush, White Thunder. Lin Yu started practicing from the lowest level of Kido. It feels so good not to have to use a sword. I am like a mage and can use my skills from a distance. How about applying to join the Kido community in the future? O King, the mask of flesh and blood, the myriad things, the thing that flutters high and bears the name of human beings. Heat and chaos, rolling southward across the sea, marching forward. Hado no. 31, Red Cannon. With a fire bomb, Lin Yu eliminated another attacking hollow. It really feels like fighting monsters and upgrading. Suddenly, a red flash came straight towards Lin Yu. I'm lucky. After wandering around for so many days, I finally met a big ghost, even though it's just Jillian. Bakudo 39, Round Gate Fan. The flash of Shu was easily blocked by Lin Yu. Shunpo stepped forward and fired a Bakudo at Daxu. Thundering Carriage, Gap of Spinning Wheel, this thing has light, divided into 6. Bakudo's 61, 6-stick light prison. After restraining the Jillian, and just as he was about to raise his hand to release the red fire cannon to kill it, Lin Yu suddenly thought of something, pulled out the Zanpakuto from his waist, and slashed at Jillian with perfect precision. He did a good job and did not kill it on the spot. The painful Jillian broke free from Lin Yu's Kido, and his instinct drove it to run for its life. If I remember correctly, Daxu almost all lives in the Daxu Forest. The Daxu Forest is located under the yellow sand of Hueco Mundo, but I don't know how to get in. Lin Yu walked slowly from behind. Chasing the escaping Jillian was to find the entrance to the Great Void Forest. Lin Yu followed Jillian to a sand dune, and Jillian dove into the sand dune. Lin Yu came to the sand dune, observed it for a while, and then entered it. A huge crack appeared in front of me. It was pitch black inside, and there were faint roars. Lin Yu carefully walked into the crack and found that it was a passage leading underground. Walking down the passage, Lin Yu finally came to the Daxu Forest. There are huge trees and strange plants everywhere, and the air is filled with a strong aura of spiritual beings. Lin Yu continued to go deep into the Daxu Forest, and he felt a powerful aura approaching. He looked around warily and saw a large group of huge Jillians appearing in front of him. Yeah. With so many Jillians, I can finally try the effect of the Zanpakuto's release. The leader, Jillian, roared angrily, spitting out blazing fire from his mouth, and swept towards Lin Yu. Lin Yu ducked sideways and drew out his Zanpakuto. Under the starry sky, thunder shakes the 9 heavens, and the thunder of the gods kills gods and demons. Liberate, Thunder Emperor Sword. Lin Yu, who was behind Shikai, stepped forward with his sword. Jillian, the leader, stretched out his giant claw to block Lin Yu's slash. At the same time, the virtual flash in his mouth condensed, preparing to launch a counterattack. Lin Yu used Shunpo to dodge, and while avoiding the attack, he released several Kido in succession in the air, restricting Jillian's movements. Lin Yu clenched his Zanpakuto, dodged, rushed towards Daxu, jumped up high, and slashed downwards. The Zanpakuto drew a dazzling blue light and struck it hard. A painful roar came, and Jillian, the leader, instantly turned into dust. Come on, let me make a killing today. Only a Jillian-level Daxu can make me a little more interested in fighting. Lin Yu continued to swing his sword, treating the group of Daxu in front of him as beings waiting to be slaughtered, of lamb. The hunting time begins now. More and more Jillians came towards Lin Yu. Group fight. If the tiger doesn't show its power, you think I'm Hello Kitty, Thunder Emperor Sword, thundering for 9 days. The weather conditions changed, the dark sky suddenly became covered with dark clouds, and the sound of thunder rolled from the sky. Rumble. This is no ordinary thunder. The thunder is also mixed with Lin Yu's spiritual pressure. The power of the thunder depends on the user's spiritual pressure. Theoretically speaking, as long as the spiritual pressure is strong enough, the range can cover the entire Soul Society. It is no exaggeration to say that the coverage range of the Thunder Emperor Sword's Thunder 9 Heavens and the coverage range of Captain Yamamoto Ryujin Jaka Bankai are not far behind. However, it is currently unrealistic for Lin Yu to cause the same damage as the captain. The captain is known as the strongest Shinigami after all. Although Lin Yu after Shikai is also considered a strong man, under the captain in his eyes, he is still a Kurami. Although he can't kill him with one knife, it would be better to chop him with a few more. If nothing else, Lin Yu can only look up to him based on his combat experience, so don't fight with the captain. Thunder 9 Heavens is a range attack after the Thunder Emperor Sword Shikai, which is to summon 9 Heavens thunder to carry out devastating thunder and lightning attacks on enemies in a wide range. The damage is inversely proportional to the range. The larger the range, the smaller the damage. The smaller the range, the damage. The higher. As Lin Yu swung the sword, the Thunder Emperor Sword in his hand emitted a burst of dazzling thunder, and then thick thunderbolts fell from the sky and struck Jillian, who was coming. The power of thunder and lightning was astonishing, instantly turning several Jillians in front of them into ashes. However, the remaining Jillians did not retreat because of this, they continued to rush towards Lin Yu. This is normal. Jillian's mind is crazy and she only knows how to attack and run away. It's not too much to call her stupid. When Lin Yu saw this, a cold look flashed in his eyes, and he waved the Thunder Emperor Sword, releasing the powerful power of thunder again. For a moment, dark clouds rolled in the sky, thunder burst out, and countless thunderbolts fell like raindrops, hitting Jillian around them one after another. These lightning bolts are so powerful that they can easily destroy a Jillian with each strike. But there were too many Jillians. They rushed towards Lin Yu one after another, trying to defeat him with their numerical advantage. At the same time, the Jillians behind also used false flashes. Facing so many enemies, Lin Yu showed no fear on his face, instead showing an excited smile. Die! Lin Yu shouted loudly, and with his words, the thunder on the Thunder Emperor's sword became more dazzling, and the thunder seemed to tear the entire sky apart. At the same time, the dark clouds in the sky rolled violently, and thick thunder and lightning poured down from the clouds, forming a dense thunder net that enveloped all Jillian. In this thunder net, Jillian suffered a huge blow. After their bodies were struck by lightning, they turned into clouds of ashes and scattered in the air. Looking around, only the broken earth left after being ravaged by thunder, the remaining lightning, and the jumping arcs all showed the brutality of the battle just now. A group of Jillians were all wiped out. Phew, this move is strong, but it consumes too much spiritual pressure. The second level of spiritual pressure after my Shikai consumes less than half. I'd better use it sparingly in the future. It's quite impressive when fighting Kurami, but it's still better when I meet a top powerhouse. Forget it, it can only cause some trouble to the opponent and limit the opponent's ability to move. Lin Yu, who had consumed too much spiritual pressure, released the Shikai state of the Thunder Emperor sword, and then why yet again, this move is used to pretend to be B. It couldn't be more appropriate. Think about it, if you turn your back to the enemy with a sword, and the thunder comes from the sky, then there is no such thing as, everyone is talking and laughing, and the ores are wiped out in ashes, no one can say something powerful or awesome. Forget it, stop pretending, this is the Great Void Forest. I just killed a group of Jillians, so I moved quickly. Who knows if another group of Achukas will come out. They are not Jillians like idiots. Although they can be killed, the feeling of being surrounded is not pleasant. If the car overturns, it will be over. It is impossible for Mang to be reckless anymore. You must know that he came to the Soul Society after Mang died. He sensed the surroundings. With spiritual pressure and several shunpo in succession, Lin Yu quickly evacuated here. Lin Yu explored forward while observing the surrounding environment. Suddenly, I noticed a powerful spiritual pressure approaching quickly. No, it's Akuka's. We haven't returned to full strength yet, so we should retreat first. Lin Yu secretly screamed something bad. He speeded up, but the spiritual pressure followed closely behind. Seeing that he was about to be overtaken, Lin Yu decided to fight quickly to avoid being discovered by more Akukas. He stopped and turned to face the Yachukas. He flashed and rushed towards Akukas. The blade of the sword drew a brilliant arc in the air, slashing towards the enemy with fierce spiritual pressure. It's actually a Shinigami. This Yachukas originally noticed a strange spiritual pressure nearby, and was about to follow him to see what the cause was. When he saw it, he saw a man wearing a Death Tyrant outfit with a weapon hanging around his waist. The person holding the Zanpakuto, in standard Shinigami attire. This Yachukas was about to kill this Shinigami. Unexpectedly, Lin Yu stopped, pulled out his Zanpakuto and rushed towards it. Still sighing that this Shinigami's head was so funny, it felt a rush of force on its face. The powerful spiritual pressure came and I was instantly stunned. The idea is too tricky, you can't win, run away. Upon seeing this, Akukas hurriedly turned sideways to avoid, but was still wounded by the knife. It roared angrily and pounced on Lin Yu. Lin Yu turned sideways to avoid the attack, and then slashed out with his sword. Unexpectedly, the Akukas jumped directly past him and fled in the opposite direction at high speed. Maid, you are really smart. You can also feint a shot. You know you can't win, but you actually make a fuss and escape. Lin Yu was stunned, and immediately used Shunpo to pursue him. You have to catch up and kill it quickly, otherwise it will be in trouble if it joins the other Achukas. Lin Yu chased Akukas closely, and the distance between the two gradually widened. The Hibiki is much faster than Shunpo. If you continue like this, you will lose track of me. When I return to Soul Society, I still have to ask the captain of Shifun to see if I can learn Shunpo, which is unique to the Shifun family. Fortunately, this Yachukas panicked and rushed into a cave. Lin Yu followed the cave without hesitation. The cave was dark, damp, and filled with an unpleasant smell. Suddenly, Yachukas disappeared, and Lin Yu looked around warily. At this time, a burst of spiritual pressure came from above his head, and multiple false bullets shot down. Before he could think about it, he said, Bakudo number 39, round gate fan. He blocked the flying bullets. It turned out that Akukas was hiding on the top of the cave, waiting for an opportunity to launch an attack. Lin Yu's eyes turned cold, he raised the Thunder Emperor sword and rushed towards Akukas. Seeing this, Akukas wanted to repeat his old tricks and escape, but Lin Yu predicted its movements. Lin Yu jumped up and slashed out with the Thunder Emperor sword in his hand, the thundering carriage, the gap of the spinning wheel, this thing has light, divided into 6. Bakudo number 61, 6 staff light prison. The slash was just a feint. Achukas, who had escaped the slash, was instantly restrained by Bakudo, and fell to the ground unable to move. Lin Yu breathed a sigh of relief and said, I caught him. Without any unnecessary nonsense, he killed Akukas, who was still desperately begging for mercy, with one knife. Before he could breathe a sigh of relief, he found a pair of eyes watching him from the depths of the cave. Are there any more enemies? It seems that this Akukas was not in a panic, but deliberately led me here. However, for some unknown reason, the man in the dark had no intention of saving it, so he let it go. I beheaded it. Lin Yu tightened the zanpakuto in his hand. Come out. There is no point in hiding in the dark. There was a burst of light footsteps in the quiet cave, spreading slowly, and a figure gradually became clear in Lin Yu's eyes. Yeah. It's troublesome this time. Look at this fuzzy figure, which is almost as tall as a human being. The only thing that survives in this state in Hueco Mundo, apart from Shinigami, is the highest level Daxua Stad. Shinigami, it can be ruled out immediately. After all, it was Shinigami who greeted me just now. Lin Yu had a bitter look on his face and still pulled out his zanpakuto. Finally, someone appeared in front of Lin Yu. She was a woman with a white mask on her head in the shape of an antelope skull and long lake green hair that reached her waist. He has gray-brown eyes, a tattoo on his face, and a rose-colored horizontal facial pattern. Wearing a white combat uniform, white gloves on his hands, and something similar to a zanpakuto on his waist. It turned out to be Niliel du Audiobook. I remember the preface the author of Shinigami gave to Niliel was, "If you can give me a pair of wings, I am willing to fly for you. Even if this land has completely sunk into the water. If you could give me a sharp sword, I would stand up for you. Even if this sky has penetrated you with light." Lin Yu breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the person clearly. If it was Nailu, his behavior just now would be normal, because Nailu has an innocent and friendly personality. Since it is an automatic Arankar, it can continue to evolve without devouring its own kind, so it hates meaningless battles. He thinks that Arankar, who is just like himself, has fallen from human beings into a void. After finally becoming Arankar, he regains his rationality and doesn't want to engage in meaningless fights. He doesn't like fighting, but he is never afraid of it. Although he doesn't like fighting, when someone important to him is hurt, he will not hesitate to pick up the knife in his hand to protect the important person. Lin Yu sheathed the knife and was thinking about how to speak. You are Shinigami, right? Why did you appear in the world of Hueco Mundo? Nailu spoke to break the silence. Yes, I am Shinigami. I came to Hueco Mundo to practice myself. Lin Yu felt that Nailu's spiritual pressure was not malicious, and this battle should not be fought. Well, Nailu was speechless for a moment. I didn't expect you to be so honest and admit your identity directly. Although Nailu doesn't like fighting, it doesn't mean that she is easy to bully. To use it, you need to have strength and background to hang out. Lin Yu has the entire Gote 13 team behind him. What does Nailu have? In this era, there should be no such thing as Espada. Nailu is still alone, her mask is not broken, and there are no scars on her forehead. Her strength is currently on the rise, and she probably has not reached her strongest state yet. If we really fight her, I don't know if I can win, mainly because I don't know Bankai yet. If I learn Bankai, it doesn't matter who she is, just do it first. After thinking about it, Lin Yu burst into laughter. Isn't this Shinigami an idiot? He's smiling for no reason. Could it be that he's a lunatic? That's right, who would come to Hueco Mundo with a slightly normal Shinigami? Nailu was a little unsure about the situation of the Shinigami in front of her. If it weren't for his spirit, the pressure was also very peaceful, and he didn't feel any malice. He had already drawn the sword. My name is Lin Yu. The lady opposite, can you tell me your name? A very corny opening statement. My name is Niliel du Audiobook. Nailu responded, come to Hueco Mundo to practice. You are really brave. You might lose your life if you don't do it. There are many powerful beings in Hueco Mundo. I want to challenge them and improve myself. Lin Yu scratched his head. Nailu listened and shook her head slightly. You are really a strange Shinigami. Generally, Shinigami will not come to Hueco Mundo. However, since you are here, you must be careful. Hueco Mundo is full of dangers, but not every tile stoddard doesn't like fighting as much as I do, especially with your status as Shinigami. Lin Yu nodded and expressed his gratitude. Nailu seems not as innocent as she looks. She must have experienced a lot. By the way, Miss Nailu, why are you here? Lin Yu asked curiously. Nailu said softly, I like to be alone, relatively quiet. Lin Yu thought, maybe he could make friends with Nailu. He didn't know how long he would have to stay in Hueco Mundo. It would be a good choice to have someone to travel with. Then what do you usually do? Lin Yu then asked. Well, take a look at the scenery, and occasionally fight with some empty fights. Nailu thought for a while and replied. Fighting with Shu. Don't you like fighting? Lin Yu was a little surprised. It's just occasionally, and I won't kill them, just for fun. Nailu explained. Lin Yu couldn't help laughing. This Nailu was really interesting. Then can I travel around Hueco Mundo with Miss Nailu? It will be safer to have a companion. Lin Yu invited. Nailu hesitated for a moment, but finally nodded. Okay, let's go together then. However, I don't promise that I will always be with you. Nailu said with a smile. In this way, Lin Yu and Nailu embarked on a journey to visit Hueco Mundo. Lin Yu and Nailu traveled through the virtual world together. They saw all kinds of virtual worlds and encountered many dangers. But every time they were able to turn danger into safety, the relationship between the two became closer and closer. Hueco Mundo doesn't remember years. I don't know how much time has passed, but Lin Yu's Kido and White hits have also improved to the point of proficiency. Hado below 90 can give up chanting and release them at will. Miss Nailu, thank you for accompanying me on my trip to Hueco Mundo. I have a request that I hope you can agree to. After thinking about it for a long time, Lin Yu finally spoke to Nailu. Request. I won't agree if it's too much. Looking at Lin Yu's serious look, Nailu did not express her attitude. Miss Nailu, can you fight with me? I want to evaluate my current strength. Please. It's just a fight, no problem, I promise you. I thought it was something serious, a fight, a small matter. Bring it on. Lin Yu and Nailu stood opposite each other, and the atmosphere became tense. Lin Yu held the Zanpakuto tightly with firm eyes, while Nailu held the weapon equally easily with a smile on her face. The battle was about to break out, and Lin Yu took the lead in launching an attack, pulling out his Zanpakuto and quickly rushing towards Nailu, slashing at her with the knife. Nailu dodged sideways and then counterattacked. Her speed was so fast that Lin Yu was caught off guard. The two of them went back and forth without giving in to each other. Lin Yu displayed various Kido and White hit skills, and Nailu also showed great strength. Miss Nailu, I'm going to do a Shikai, be careful. Under the starry sky, thunder shakes the 9 heavens, and the thunder of the gods kills gods and demons. Liberate, Thunder Emperor Sword. Feeling Lin Yu's soaring spiritual pressure, Nailu was also ready to die. I really can't underestimate you. You're not far behind even if you compare with the strongest people in Hueco Mundo. Sing, Gamuza. Nailu held her Zanpakuto forward with both hands, and after releasing it, she transformed into a half-goat holding a double-headed spear. The double-headed horns that were originally attached to the skull mask have become segmented and bent long horns. The collarbone, shoulders, elbows, and hands are all covered with white armor, and both arms have black long-sleeved gloves. Quote, come on, keep fighting. After a fierce contest, Lin Yu gradually gained the upper hand. He seized the opportunity and launched a slashing attack with all his strength. Nailu blocked the attack, but was knocked back a few steps. Miss Nailu, be careful, I'm about to use my strongest attack. I'm not proficient in this move yet. Thunder God's Judgment summons a line of duty in God's thunder to cause a devastating blow to a single enemy. If used with all his strength, with Lin Yu's current strength, this blow can completely kill a Daxu that has just evolved into Vastad. It is considered his strongest blow. Awesome, Lin Yu. You'd better not use all your strength. Nailu blocked the blow with difficulty, put away the weapon, and said with a smile. Lin Yu gasped and looked at Nailu, feeling filled with a sense of accomplishment. This battle gave him a clearer understanding of his own strength. Miss Nailu is my friend, we are just comparing notes, Lin Yu said. Friends, I hope we can still be friends next time we meet. Goodbye, Lin Yu, Nailu said with a smile, then turned and left. Hey, Miss Nailu, whether you are a hollow or a Shinigami, being too kind is not good, especially in an environment like Hueco Mundo. I don't want to hear the news of your death when I come to Hueco Mundo next time. I received your words. Don't worry, I won't die easily. Lin Yu looked at her leaving back, secretly in a trance, wondering if this encounter could change Nailu's sad experience in the future. After the war, Lin Yu and Nailu both exchanged what they had learned. Under the condition that they promised not to spread the word to others, Lin Yu obtained the skills of ringing and virtual flash, while Nilu obtained the skills of Kido. An Arrancar who can use Kido, this image is unimaginable. Lin Yu said goodbye to Nilu and continued to travel in Hueco Mundo alone. Coming from Soul Society to Hueco Mundo, Lin Yu's goal has always been the same, which is to learn Bankai and become a more powerful Shinigami. After staying in Hueco Mundo for so long, Lin Yu's Zongquan Zonghui has improved a lot, but he still has no clue about the secret of Bankai. Thunder Emperor, Lin Yu came to the world of Zanpakuto again after whispering his Zanpakuto's name. I'm here, I want to learn Bankai. Lin Yu was too lazy to talk nonsense. Here we go again. You have said this every time you come to see me during this period. You are so persistent. Bankai cannot be learned by just studying. You don't understand the meaning of Bankai at all. Go back and wait for you. One day you understand what I said, you can come to me again, I don't want to see you for the time being. Lei waved his hand, and Lin Yu was forcibly sent back to the real world. Lin Yu stood there with a blank look on his face, his heart full of doubts and confusion. He didn't know what he did wrong. Why did Lei always refuse to teach him Bankai? Is it really because he didn't understand the true meaning of Bankai? But, what is the true meaning of Bankai? Lin Yu was trapped in deep contemplation. Lin Yu decided to put aside the idea of learning Bankai and instead focus on cultivating his own state of mind. It seems that we can't learn Bankai from the Thunder Emperor in a short time. We still have to learn it on our own. It's better to leave Hueco Mundo and return to Soul Society. Lin Yu opened his eyes and sighed helplessly. I originally thought I could learn Bankai from the Thunder Emperor, but now it seems that this goal cannot be achieved in the short term. He decided to rely on his own efforts to understand the secrets of Bankai. Lin Yu stood up and prepared to leave Hueco Mundo. He thought in his mind, what is the meaning of Bankai? Isn't it just a simple increase in strength, but a breakthrough in state of mind? Maybe only when I truly understand the essence of Bankai can I master its power. Bankai is not only a skill or ability, but also a sublimation of spiritual realm. Lin Yu pulled out his Zanpakuto and opened the portal to Soul Society. When he stepped into the boundary crossing gate, a strange scene appeared in front of him, the broken boundary. The ratio of time here to the outside world is 2,000 times, which means that 2,000 years of cultivation here is equivalent to only 2 years in the outside world. Lin Yu couldn't help but exclaimed, it's really strange here. However, Lin Yu also realized that the broken world was not a safe place. It will be very dangerous if you encounter an emergency. If you want to enter the inside of Jutu, you must eliminate your own spiritual pressure, otherwise you will be swallowed. Thinking of this, Lin Yu shook his head and thought, forget it, this idea is too crazy. I don't want to take the risk. So, he continued to move forward, cross the boundary, and finally returned to the Soul Society where he had been away for a long time. You are willing to come back. I thought you died in Hueco Mundo. As soon as Lin Yu came back to Ba Yunjai, he noticed his spiritual pressure and rushed over from the captain's room. Before Ba Yunjai could vent his anger, Lin Yu held her in his arms and said, oh. I'm back, I'm making you worried. After being away for so many years, I just want to get rid of me with just one sentence. Ba Yunjai is like a doormat. Actually, I heard everything you said the last time you were drunk. I pretended to be drunk on purpose. Lin Yu rubbed Ba Yunjai's hair, the captain turned out to be a big liar. Okay, go and prepare the ingredients for the hot pot. I will go to the first team to report to the captain first. That bird in Hueco Mundo is not shit. I'm so hungry after staying in this place for so long. Well, go quickly and come back early. At this moment, Ba Yunjai was like a well-behaved little daughter-in-law who was sending her husband off. I don't know how many years have passed now. That ghost place in Hueco Mundo doesn't distinguish between day and night. I should have asked Ba Yunjai just now. Lin Yu thought as he hurried on. Stop. A team of powerful troops. Lin Yu, who was thinking with his head down, was stopped by someone. When he looked up, he saw that the person in front of him was wearing a Shinigami outfit that was different from most Shinigami. His death outfit was white and black, with silver white hair and golden eyes. What a handsome guy. Wait, isn't this the fake guy who was killed by the plot? Sasaki Chojiro. It seems that I stayed in Hawako Mundo for a long time, even he has already appeared. I am Lin Yu, Deputy Captain of the 8th Division. If you have anything to do, please see Captain Yamamoto. Lin Yu suppressed a smile and expressed his intention. Vice Captain of the 8th Division. I never heard that Captain Ba Yunzai promoted him to Vice Captain. Chojiro thought for a moment. Wait a moment, I will report to the Captain. Alas, the appearance of Sasaki Chojiro here can only prove that he has learned Bankai and the Captain has accepted him. I've been in Hawako Mundo for so long, and I still can't Bankai. It's really embarrassing. I am still a genius, but I am a natural idiot. Long wait, Vice Captain Lin Yu, the Captain is in the courtyard, please follow me. Changjiro brought Lin Yu into the first team with questions. When he met the Captain just now, he said that there was a man who called himself the Deputy Captain of the division asked him to come and see him. The Captain directly asked him to pick up this person and go in to see him. He didn't even need to be in the reception room. Chojiro couldn't even think about it. Captain, Vice Captain Lin Yu is here. I'll take my leave first. Changjiro, stay here. I introduced you just now. The Captain stopped Sasaki who was about to leave. Hey, Captain, it's been a long time since I saw you. What's the matter with the injury on your forehead? Lin Yu asked knowingly. You said this kid in front of you left it to me. Now I have changed my name to Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni. How can I have this honor? The Captain thinks too highly of me. Not paying attention to what Chojiro said, the Captain continued, let me introduce you formally. This kid's name is Sasaki Chojiro. He is now my deputy captain, and his Zanpakuto is of the thunder type like yours, but it's Yanling Wan, known as the strongest lightning element. As the thunder system the strongest. Lin Yu really wanted to see it, and he was a little eager to try it. Changjiro, do you want to spar with Lin Yu? Now that the Captain has spoken, I will fight with Deputy Captain Lin Yu. In fact, after hearing that the man's Zanpakuto in front of him was also a thunder type, Chojiro couldn't hold it in anymore. First team training ground. Lin Yu and Chojiro set up their formation. Vice Captain Sasaki, please. Chojiro was not pretentious. Penetrate him. Yanling Maru raised his hand to free the Zanpakuto and slashed at Lin Yu. Lin Yu Shunpo dodged, drew out his Zanpakuto and fought back. The two sides fought back and forth. After fighting for several rounds in a row, Chojiro couldn't stand it any longer. Is he really just the vice captain? He can fight me evenly without releasing the Zanpakuto. He doesn't lose at all. It seems I have to use Bankai to suppress him. After all, Enryamaru is the strongest Zanpakuto of the thunder system, even Bankai can suppress it with his Zanpakuto. After another attack, Chojiro distanced himself. Vice Captain Lin Yu, I want to Bankai, please Bankai too. Otherwise you will get hurt. Bankai, Huang Yanling left the palace. The spiritual pressure on Chojiro's Zanpakuto was released into the air at once, causing the electrons in the air to condense into huge spiritual pressure. The entire Saraiti was instantly covered with clouds and an oval-shaped electric light appeared. The electric light was divided into 11 lines, surrounding by his side. Change the sky, it is indeed the strongest Zanpakuto of the thunder system. This sense of oppression is really powerful. It seems that I can't stop this move without liberation, so let me try this powerful Zanpakuto of the thunder system. The level is right. Facing Chojiro's Bankai, Lin Yu also became serious. Under the starry sky, thunder shakes the 9 heavens, and the thunder of the gods kills gods and demons. Release the Thunder Emperor sword. Lin Yu released the Zanpakuto, and the spiritual pressure around him suddenly soared. How is it possible? Shikai alone has reached this level. Even if this man's strength cannot be compared to the captain, it is not much worse. Sure enough, the level of strength does not depend on the Zanpakuto in his hand. Even the strongest lightning element is useless. Chojiro gathered 11 lightning bolts on the blade and thrust forward. Lin Yu raised the Thunder Emperor sword high, and the Thunder God ruled. A ray of thunder from the sky was led down from the sky by Lin Yu. With a wave of the Zanpakuto in his hand, the divine thunder struck Chojiro who was sprinting over. Boom! The lightning of the collision was blinding, and Chojiro flew backwards. His death armor was in tatters, and he was obviously injured by Lin Yu's move. Are you okay, Vice Captain Sasaki? Lin Yu sheathed his sword and prepared to check his injuries. Ahem, no problem. Vice Captain Lin Yu should call me Chojiro. Chojiro was convinced. Lin Yu defeated him without even using Bankai. His strength was really terrifying. I would also like to thank Vice Captain Lin Yu for keeping his hand and not doing Bankai. I wonder if I can see your Bankai. Looking at Lin Yu's wry smile, Chojiro thought that he was presumptuous and forced a powerful being to Bankai is irrational. Chenjiro, actually, I don't know how to Bankai yet, Lin Yu said ashamedly, putting his hand on his forehead. Ah, two surprised voices came. Not only Chojiro, but also Captain Yamamoto was surprised. This kid hasn't learned Bankai yet. It's really a ghost. Chojiro was also confused. He was so strong before he learned Bankai. If he learned Bankai, it would be better. What a monster. The battle just now attracted a large number of watching Shinigami. After all, the scope of influence of Chojiro's Bankai was too great. Let's go back to my captain's room first. There are more and more people. Captain Yamamoto stopped Chojiro, who wanted to continue. Lin Yu, you said you haven't learned Bankai yet. It doesn't make sense. Please tell me in detail what the reason is and I'll see if I can help you answer it. Captain Yamamoto asked eagerly. Lin Yu relayed what the Thunder Emperor said to him to the captain. Strange, since you have mastered Shikai, it stands to reason that as long as you continue to develop the Thunder Emperor sword, Bankai will be a matter of course. You shouldn't be unable to do it yet. Bankai. Captain Yamamoto also couldn't find the answer to this situation. Chenjiro, you may have a lot of doubts. Lin Yu joined the Gotei 13 team 200 years ago. He mastered Shikai in less than a year, and then went to Hawako Mundo to practice in order to learn Bankai. That's why you haven't seen him in Soul Society. Captain Yamamoto told Chojiro what he had always wondered about. The Gotei 13, who joined 200 years ago, learned Shikai in less than a year, and were honed in Hawako Mundo. They still don't know Bankai, but their strength is ridiculously strong. After hearing this, Chojiro felt numb all over. What kind of thing is this? This is a monster. Captain Yamamoto and Chojiro wanted to continue asking, so Lin Yu took his leave. You've just returned to Soul Society. Do you have anything to deal with today? Captain Yamamoto still wanted to keep Lin Yu and continue to ask him about Hawako Mundo. Captain, there's nothing wrong with me. It's just that it's getting late. Ba Yunjai is waiting for me to go back for dinner, so I'll stay soon. Lin Yu said haha. You little devil, go back, lest you make Ba Yunjai angry. The captain, who was still a little angry, suddenly changed his expression. Lin Yu stood up to say goodbye. Chojiro next to him opened his mouth wide and pointed in the direction Lin Yu left. He actually called Captain Ba Yunjai by his name and said that he was waiting for him to go back for dinner. Captain, did I hear you correctly? Lin Yu's words made Chenjiro feel even more outrageous than the captain's introduction to his deeds just now. Chenjiro, you didn't know this, but Lin Yu and Ba Yunjai love each other. The captain laughed rarely. The captain of the Gotei 13, who usually looked fierce, turned out to be a loving family with her vice captain. Chojiro felt like he had been hit hard by 10,000 points in his heart. What happened today had to overthrow his view. After Lin Yu left the first team, he went straight back to the 8th team. As soon as he entered the door, he saw Ba Yunjai busy preparing hot pot ingredients. Lin Yu hurried forward to help. You're back so soon. Didn't the captain keep you for dinner? Yes, I stayed, but I told the captain that you were waiting for me to eat, so I rushed back. If you tell the captain like this, he won't get angry and stab you with a knife. You guessed wrong. Originally, the captain was quite unhappy when I was about to leave. But as soon as I said I wanted to come back for dinner, the captain understood and was very happy to let me come back. The two were chatting and busy at the same time. Cheers, I haven't had such delicious food in almost 200 years. After dinner, Lin Yu and Ba Yunjai sat cuddling each other on the roof of the 8th Division, blowing the evening breeze, and told her what they saw and heard in Hawako Mundo, mixed with a few earthy love words they had learned before, making Ba Yunjai blush from time to time. He recalled his experience in Hawako Mundo and his conversation with the Thunder Emperor. Although he is still unable to understand the true meaning of Bankai, he firmly believes that as long as he keeps working hard, he will one day be able to understand it. Time is running out. Now Chojiro has joined the Gote 13, which means that the most critical plot in Shinigami is coming soon. The war between Soul Society and the Quincy led by Yuach is about to break out. I can't tell the captain directly. Why don't I tell the captain that I came from time travel and that Yuach will attack Soul Society? Let's kill all the Quincy first. The captain might think I'm crazy. In this battle between Shinigami and the Quincy, although he knew that Soul Society won in the end, he did not know what price Soul Society paid. Judging from the known information, Soul Society suffered heavy casualties. After the war, Soul Society suffered heavy casualties. The Gote 13 was reorganized, and the captain changed the Yuanji private school to the Shino Spiritual Arts Academy, recruiting a large number of ordinary souls with spiritual power from Rukongai. At the same time, the captains of each division were changed. What worries him the most is that after the war, Hieraku Shunsui, a disciple of the first phase of Junnu Spiritual Arts Academy, took over as captain of the 8th Division. This meant that Ba Yunzai either died in battle or died in the battle. He just retired after the war. Lin Yu didn't dare to gamble. He was afraid that he would lose Ba Yunzai. Looking at the moon in the night sky, Lin Yu held Ba Yunzai's hand tightly and suddenly said to her, "Ba Yunzai, I will protect yours." What? Lin Yu, you are really confused. I don't need your protection, you should protect yourself. Early the next morning, the sun shone into the room through the window. Lin Yu climbed out of bed early, feeling a little nervous and expectant. Today he is going to visit two important people, Captain Shifengyuan of the 2nd Division and Captain Unohana of the 11th Division. He tidied up his Death Domination uniform, combed his hair, and then left his residence. The first stop is to go to Captain Shifengyuan. He has arrived at the station of the 2nd Division. The environment here is quiet and green, as if isolated from the outside world. The 2nd Division is worthy of leading the secret mobile team. This station is so unique. Lin Yu knocked on the door of the captain's office of Shifengyuan and walked in after getting permission. The captain of Shifengyuan was sitting at his desk, looking at him with a faint smile on his face. The two exchanged pleasantries, and Lin Yu expressed his respect for the captain and explained his purpose of coming. I would like to ask you about the Shunpo skills unique to the Shifengyuan family. I hope I can learn and improve my own strength, Lin Yu said sincerely. However, the expression of the captain of Shifengyuan became serious. He shook his head gently and made it clear that this was the unique skill of the Shifengyuan family and could not be passed on to others. Lin Yu felt a little disappointed, but still politely expressed his understanding. At this time, the captain of Shifengyuan suddenly smiled and proposed another option. If you are willing to consider joining the Shifengyuan family and become a member of our family, then I can teach you the Shunpo technique. A sly light flashed in his eyes. When Lin Yu heard this proposal, he almost couldn't stand still. His eyes widened and his face was full of astonishment. He waved his hands quickly, indicating that he could not accept such conditions. I want to learn Shifengyuan's unique Shunpo just to improve my strength and protect Baiyunjai. You even asked me to marry you, so why are you kidding me? Thank you very much for your kindness, but I have no such plan. He explained quickly. When the captain of Shifengyuan saw this, he no longer forced himself. He just smiled and told Lin Yu not to care. Lin Yu breathed a sigh of relief, secretly glad that he was not in an embarrassing situation. Finally, he thanked and said goodbye to Captain Shifengyuan, and then hurriedly left the station of the 2nd Division. Next, he will go to the 11th Division to visit Captain Unohana. This experience made Lin Yu realize that it is not easy to learn the unique skills of other families. However, Kaido has become popular after 1,000 years, and the 4th Division was specially reorganized into a medical team. Captain Unohana should not, I will refuse. Lin Yu came to the station of the 11th Squadron. This place is completely different from the peaceful atmosphere of the 2nd Division, it is full of energy and noise. He found Captain Unohana's office, knocked on the door and entered. Captain Uzawa greeted him warmly. After all, Captain Uzawa is Baiyunjai's best friend. Captain Unohana, I heard that you claim to be the Grand Master of all swordsmanship in Soul Society and call yourself Yakiryu. You must have experienced many fights. You always defeat your opponents with a crushing style. Lin Yu did not directly say so. He wanted to learn Kaido, but he felt it was too rude, so he had better lay the foundation first. Hana took a sip of tea and said, most of the battles did end in a crushing manner, but we also encountered more difficult opponents, such as Captain Yamamoto, Captain Saito, Captain Bonsai, etc. They are strong opponents. Except for the captain, I have never defeated them, and the rest have won and lost. Wait a minute, you said that Ba Yunjai's swordsmanship is also very powerful. Did I hear you right? Lin Yu automatically ignored Captain Saito. Although he knew that all members of the first generation Gotei 13 were evil, he did not know that Bonsai was also a master of swordsmanship. Bonsai only looks like a delicate girl in front of you. When she really fights, she is also a ruthless one. She is not lenient at all when she cuts people. She is also a veritable evil person, and she is the Gotei captain of the 8th Division of the 13th Division. How could Lin Yu think she is a vase? Quote, of course I know Ba Yunjai's strength, I just didn't know she was also a swordsman. Also, my Ba Yunjai is very well behaved. Captain Maojihua is not allowed to say that about her. Lin Yu tried his best to defend Ba Yunjai. The beautiful image of Yunjai in my heart. Is this love? Captain Hana asked in confusion. Love. Love NM's twist. Hearing Mao Zihua's question, Lin Yu couldn't help but think of this classic line. I'm going too far, Captain Hana. I want to ask you if you have experienced so many battles. Is there any way to quickly recover from injuries? After all, there are times when you were injured in battles. Lin Yu, why did you think of asking about this? Yes, I did learn this ability. It was taught to me by a man named Thunder Tenshiro. Captain Ujiwa felt a little strange about this matter. It's like this. During the days when I fought in Hueco Mundo, I suffered many injuries. Each time I was injured, it took a long time to recover. After returning to Soul Society, I have been thinking about this problem. Moreover, after Captain Hua has rich combat experience and is Ba Yunjai's best friend, so he plans to come to you for advice. Lin Yu quickly explained the reason. So that's it. Lin Yu, do you want to learn this skill? It would be great if I could learn this skill. Lin Yu was so happy that Captain Ujiwa asked, that means there is something interesting about this. Captain Hana, actually I still have an immature idea. Why don't the Gotei 13 set up a dedicated medical team? Shinigami are already very scarce. This can greatly avoid the loss of combat power. Maojihua's eyes lit up immediately after hearing what Lin Yu said. Lin Yu, your idea is really great. I have never considered it like this before. If you're sorry, I'm going to the first team to report this to the captain. If you can accomplish this, you will have accomplished a great feat. Mao Zihua dropped Lin Yu and rushed towards the first team in a hurry. Really, Captain Ujiwa is really anxious. This matter is not temporary. He left me as a guest and left. Forget it, I have achieved my goal this time, so I will go back first. Lin Yu also stood up. Back to the 8th Division. Lin Yu, who had just returned to the 8th Division, met Ba Yunjai who was about to go out. Ba Yunjai, do you have a mission to go out? The captain just announced an emergency captain meeting. Lin Yu, be prepared. There may be tasks to be performed. I'm leaving first. Ba Yunjai confessed to Lin Yu and left quickly. An emergency captain meeting was held at this time, and it should be the result of Captain Hana's report. Dividing line, cutting. In the first team, the captain who was dealing with official duties thought that something big was going on when he heard Ujiwa asking to see him. Captain, Lin Yu just visited me in the 11th Division and discussed medical matters with me. Inspired by his inspiration, I feel that it is indeed necessary for the Gotei 13th Division to set up an exclusive medical team, so that it will greatly improve Shinigami's combat effectiveness. Hana also listed other benefits of establishing a medical team. The captain pondered for a while after listening to Hana's report. I agree with this proposal. Chenjiro, immediately notify the captains of each Gotei 13 team to convene an emergency captain meeting to discuss and finalize this matter. The captain immediately asked Sasaki to issue the order. Yes, Captain. The Black and White Luo, the 22 Bridges, the 66 Crowns, Footprints, Distant Thunder, Pinnacles, Returning Ground, Night Cover, Sea of Clouds, and Blue Formations fill the Taiyuan Garden and reach the sky. Bakudo 77, Tien Ting Kong Luo. Chenjiro immediately informed the captains of each team with Kido. Captain Uezuka, you came to the conference room with the captain. Did something big happen? Captain Saifungyuan, who came the fastest, asked Yuazuka. After a while, all the captains of the Gotei 13 team arrived in the first team conference room. Except for Hana, the captains of each team were ready, thinking that something big had happened, and they were all asking each other. Looking at the noisy conference room, the captain spoke, "Quiet, this emergency captain meeting was held." It was Lin Yu, the deputy captain of the 8th Division, who proposed a major idea related to the development of the Gotei 13. After Deputy Captain Lin Yu and after the exchange with Captain Ujawa reported the matter to me. The captain continued. After my thinking, I think this proposal has certain feasibility, so I called everyone to discuss it. After hearing this, the captains of each team whispered to each other and started discussing. I agree to set up a medical team. Ba Yunjai was the first to agree. This suggestion is very constructive, and Lin Yu is not only her deputy captain, he understands everything. Agree. This can reduce the casualties of team members. For a while, various voices sounded in the conference room. Finally, after some discussion, everyone unanimously decided to set up a medical team. The commander-in-chief looked at Captain Hana and said, "This proposal has been approved by everyone. You will be responsible for the preparation of the medical team. After all, you are the only one who knows medical skills. Furthermore, I decided to incorporate medical skills into Shinigami Kido. Just call it Kaido. As for Vice Captain Lin Yu's contribution to this, I will report it to Central 46. After hearing the captain's arrangement, Ujawa stood up and said, "Thank you to the captain and all captains for their trust. I will definitely live up to your trust. Then let's decide this, let's break up the meeting." Ba Yunjai, who returned to the 8th Division, rushed up and kissed Lin Yu before he could speak. "Lin Yu, what on earth are you carrying in your head to have such a genius idea? It seems that the commander-in-chief agrees with my idea." Not only the captain, but also the captains of all Gotei 13 teams unanimously agreed. At the same time, the captain ordered Hana to be responsible for the construction of the medical team, and also incorporated medical skills into Kido, which was called Kaido. Bonsai with an excited look on his face, the captain also reported your contribution to this matter to Central 46. I wonder what reward you can get. In fact, Lin Yu had selfish motives in proposing to build a medical team. It was not only for the development of the Gotei 13 team, but he also wanted to use this method to achieve a small goal of his, eternal youth. You know, after 1,000 years, the appearance of Captain Ujawa is still the same as before, but the captain has become older. This made Lin Yu realize that mastering advanced Kaido technology may be the key to staying young. Therefore, he proposed this idea to facilitate himself in the construction of the medical team. After all, he was the one who proposed this plan, so that he could better learn and master this skill. After Lin Yu and Ba Yunjai chatted for a few words, they began to think about the future. If we learn Kaido, maybe we can stay young forever and spend a longer time with you. Lin Yu said with longing. Ba Yunjai smiled and knocked on his head. You know how beautiful you are. But if we can really learn Kaido, it might not be a bad thing for us. Lin Yu chuckled. Then we have to work hard, ask Ujawa for advice, and try to learn Kaido as soon as possible. Lin Yu and Ba Yunjai began to actively devote themselves to Kaido's study. Apart from eating, sleeping and going on missions every day, the rest of the time is devoted to Kaido. Even during breaks, they discuss their experiences with each other. They even didn't want to waste time when eating hot pot, like crazy people, discussing Kaido's techniques and applications while eating. During this period, whenever they have free time, they will go to the 11th Division and humbly ask Mao Zihua for advice. Mao Zihua always patiently answers their questions and gives valuable guidance. The two cherished this opportunity very much, listened carefully to Mao Zihua's teachings, and carefully pondered the essence. In the process of learning Kaido, Lin Yu and Ba Yunjai also discovered that advanced Kaido can indeed keep people young. Kaido can not only heal wounds, but can also use its power to enhance one's physical strength and spiritual power. Although the growth is very slow, it can be regarded as a way to improve strength. As time goes by, Lin Yu and Ba Yunjai's Kaido skills become more and more sophisticated. They learned how to use Kaido to treat a variety of injuries, including serious and fatal injuries. At the same time, they have also mastered some advanced Kaido techniques that can help restore vitality to the injured and allow them to recover quickly. In a fierce battle with Hollows, some Shinigami who went on a mission were seriously injured and their lives were in danger. In order to verify their learning results, Lin Yu and Ba Yunjai took the initiative to use Kaido to treat the injured Shinigami. Their hands glow with green light, injecting warm Kaido energy into the injured body, quickly stopping bleeding and repairing damaged tissue. Thanks to their efforts, many seriously injured people miraculously recovered. After waking up from a coma, Shinigami saw that the captain and deputy captain of the 8th Division were treating him. He felt that it was a great honor to be treated by these two people personally. After the battle, Lin Yu and Ba Yunjai received many praises and thanks from Shinigami. They used Kaido techniques to save the lives of many Shinigami who should have perished. For a time, the entire Gotei 13 Shinigami praised them highly. Lin Yu, you and Ba Yunjai are really warm-hearted, always helping the injured Shinigami. She teased the two people who were drinking tea with Unohana in the 11th Division. Yeah, Ba Yunjai and I just did it to verify the results of our studies. Ujawa, you are joking, we are not that great. Lin Yu interrupted Ujawa who wanted to continue talking. Anyway, the idea you proposed at the time, Lin Yu, has indeed brought benefits to the entire Gotei 13 after such a long period of practice. However, last time the captain said that he had reported your achievements to Central 46, no. I don't know why, but I haven't rewarded you until now. You are really a bunch of stubborn old people. Sometimes I really want to kill all those self-righteous sages with a knife. Maojihua was still mocking 46 practices. Captain Maojihua, maybe the sages have their own considerations. In fact, Lin Yu also wanted to go to room 46 to ask those old diehards why they didn't give him a reward. If the answer he got was not satisfactory, Lin Yu wouldn't mind it later. During the war with the Quincy, he learned from Lan Da and secretly killed everyone in room 46, then let the Quincy take the blame. It's enough for the Gotei 13 to take charge of the internal affairs themselves. They don't need this group of people to tell them what to do. This has become a constraint. Bang bang bang. The Seraiti, which had been silent for almost 100 years, suddenly sounded a shrill alarm, and the sound spread throughout the Seraiti. This is a special alarm signal that will only be triggered in the most critical times. At this time, all the captains of the Gotei 13 in the Seraiti received a message from Tente Kora at the same time. The captains of the Gotei 13 are requested to go to the first team immediately to hold an emergency captain meeting. When Ba Yunjai, who was handling team affairs in the 8th Division, heard the alarm, his expression tightened and he immediately put down the documents in his hands. He knew what this alarm meant. Seraiti had not sounded such an alarm for a long time. Immediately afterwards, he received a summons from Tian Ting Kong Luo, asking him to go to the first team immediately to attend an emergency captain meeting. Lin Yu, be ready to stand by. Something may have happened. The captain convened an emergency captain meeting, and a battle alarm sounded. Ba Yunjai said to Lin Yu next to him with a serious expression. After saying that, he quickly left the office and galloped towards the first team. Lin Yu was a little confused. Did something big happen? He immediately started thinking and carefully recalled the major events that may have happened in the recent period. However, after thinking about it, I still found nothing. According to the timeline, it was still some time before the Quincy attacked Soul Society, and the scale and influence of the Shinigami who occasionally launched rebellions did not require an emergency captain meeting. I don't want to think about it. I'll make peace with it now. With my current strength, even if something happens, self-protection shouldn't be a problem. Lin Yu relaxed a little, relaxed his frown, and thought about waiting. Yunjai will know the specific situation when he comes back. Everyone, this emergency captain meeting is held because of the Shinigami rebellion that occurred in Rukongai a few days ago. I sent the captain of the 7th Division, Executor Nobusuna, to suppress the rebellion. Just now, the execution captain's Reiatsu suddenly disappeared. I think this is abnormal. In case of emergency, an order is now issued. Captain Unohana Yakiru of the 11th Division, Captain Ohana Danjiro of the 5th Division, and Lin Yu, the deputy captain of the 8th Division formed an investigation team and rushed to the place where the incident occurred. The remaining captains stayed behind. In the squad leader's room, the meeting is adjourned in response to possible emergencies. When the captain meeting was held, most of the captains felt that something was wrong, because there was no one where the captain of the 7th team should be standing. The captain had a serious expression. After a little guessing, he knew that something must have happened. Sure enough, what happened this time was not a trivial matter. One of the captain's spiritual pressure suddenly disappeared. He either went to the real world or Hueco Mundo, or died in battle. Ba Yunjai, who rushed back to the 8th division, couldn't wait to convey the captain's order as soon as he saw Lin Yu. Lin Yu, I just received the news that the spiritual pressure of the executive captain of the 7th division suddenly disappeared in Rukongai. The captain ordered an investigation team composed of you, Captain Unohana Retsu and Captain Ohana Danjiro will rush to the scene immediately to investigate. After hearing the news, Lin Yu's face became solemn. He knew that it was unusual for a captain's spiritual pressure to suddenly disappear, and there might be a huge crisis hidden behind it. He responded firmly. I understand, I will set off as soon as possible to join the two captains. Ba Yunjai looked at Lin Yu worriedly and warned with concern. Lin Yu, you must act carefully. No matter what situation you encounter, don't act recklessly. Ask for support immediately if necessary. Lin Yu showed a confident smile and comforted. Don't worry, Ba Yunjai. I promised to protect you. How could I put myself in danger so easily? And this time Captain Unohana and Ohana are going with us, no need worry. Just wait until I return from my mission. After saying that, Lin Yu turned and left, preparing to meet the other two captains. After a while, Lin Yu and the other three arrived at the area where Nobusuna's spiritual pressure disappeared. There is no spiritual pressure left by the black cavity or the opening of the world traveling gate, which can rule out that the executive captain has gone to Hueco Mundo or is in the present world. Ohana Danjiro gave the conclusion of his discovery. Then in the center of this area, the three of us will search separately and gather together immediately if we find any situation. Maojihua suggested to the two. Lin Yu and Ohana Danjiro agreed, and the three immediately began to search the forest. After Lin Yu and the other three searched for a while, Unohana discovered the situation. When Lin Yu and Captain Ohana arrived, they found that the executioner, Nobusuna, was leaning under a big tree. He had been dead for a long time, and there were still traces of his life around him. Traces of explosive spiritual pressure. Ujihua's face was solemn, there are no traces of hollows around. Besides, to kill a captain-level existence, it is only possible if it is a Vastad. And before the two came, I checked the execution captain's wounds. It's not like it's caused by a void, it's a kind of energy residue that I haven't seen before. In fact, Lin Yu was the most shocked. You must know that before the Quincy attacked Seoul Society, no captain of the Gotei 13 was killed. Now that the executive captain died, this broke Lin Yu's understanding of the plot. Could it be that there was a butterfly effect? Because of his arrival, the plot changed. This is not good news for Lin Yu. Lin Yu pondered for a while. That's it. Let's take the body of the executive captain back to Seraiti and report to the captain. The inexplicable death of a captain is a big deal. When Nobusuna was executed, news came that the captain of the Gotei 13 had died unexpectedly in battle, and the entire Gotei 13 was in an unprecedented shock. The atmosphere in the first team's conference room was solemn. The usually solemn conference room was now filled with heaviness and sadness. The captains all looked solemn, shocked and saddened by this sudden tragedy. The theme of the meeting is no longer daily patrol reports or tactical discussions, but facing the reality of losing a team leader and how to deal with the next challenges. We must first investigate the cause of death of the executive captain. Saito Fu Lao Fu, captain of the 6th division, spoke first. This is related to whether we are facing an unknown powerful enemy, or there is an internal problem. Her suggestion was accepted. The captains present unanimously agreed that for an experienced and powerful captain like Nobusuna, sudden death in battle was no accident. Go down first. I have ordered Captain Si Fengyuan to lead the secret mobile team to thoroughly investigate the matter. From today on, everyone will strengthen patrols of the Seraiti and report any suspicious situations immediately. The captain was also worried. In the next few days, Seoul Society entered a state of high alert. The captains of each team personally led the team members to launch a detailed investigation. From the execution of Nobusuna's last mission to his daily life, every detail was not spared. At the same time, the deputy captain of the 7th team temporarily took over the command of the team to ensure that the daily operations of the 7th team would not fall into chaos due to the sudden death of the captain. After an in-depth investigation, the truth gradually emerged. Nobusuna was ambushed by a mysterious enemy he had never seen before while performing a high-risk mission, and eventually died heroically due to being outnumbered. This news shocked all the captains, which meant that they were facing a powerful threat that they had never known before. We can't let the execution captain's death be in vain. I checked the execution captain's body and I already know the cause of his death. If I read correctly, it should be the power of the Quincy. Yamamoto Genryu, captain of the 1st Division Sai Shigekuni's words broke the silence in the conference room. The Quincy, what kind of organization is that? A captain asked his own question. Everyone should know that after our Shinigami eliminates hollows, we will perform a soul burial ceremony on hollows, which is to purify hollows and send them to hell. The so-called Quincy advocates directly destroying hollows. If this continues, it will cause harm to the soul. Irreversible effects, destroying the balance of the 3 realms. It can be said that the Quincy is our natural opponent of Shinigami. The death of the executive captain this time is basically determined by their hands. Now, we must unite and face this together. This is a crisis. The captain's words resonated with everyone present. Every captain knew that at this moment, they must be more united than ever before. In the following meeting, the captains began to re-evaluate the strategic deployment of each team and made corresponding response measures to possible threats. As for the death of Executor Nobusuna, the Soul Society held a solemn soul burial ceremony, and all the captains and team members came to see him off for the last time. At the funeral, Captain Yamamoto delivered a touching speech. He praised Nobusuna for his lifelong loyalty and bravery, and said that he would inherit his legacy and protect the peace of Soul Society. After the execution of Nobusuna's funeral, the commander-in-chief prepared to fill the vacancy of captain of the 7th Division in order to deal with possible situations that might happen next. Executor Nobusuna's sudden death in battle was a heavy blow to the entire Gotei 13. The battle-hardened captain earned the respect and admiration of all his teammates for his perseverance and intelligence. His departure leaves a huge hole, not only tactically but also mentally. Faced with such changes, Captain Yamamoto, as the supreme commander of the Gotei 13, must make decisions quickly to ensure that the stability of the 7th Division and the combat effectiveness of the entire organization are not affected. After careful consideration, Captain Yamamoto decided to nominate Lin Yu, the deputy captain of the 8th team, to take over the position of captain of the 7th team. This decision was not made lightly. Although Lin Yu is young, his strength has undoubtedly reached captain-level standards long ago, although he has not yet learned Bankai. It hurts my heart, old man. Lin Yu, this is a heavy responsibility, but I believe you are capable of carrying this flag. In a private meeting with the first team, Captain Yamamoto said seriously to Lin Yu, from the entire Gotei 10 looking at the 3 teams, you are currently the most suitable candidate to take over as captain, and the Gotei 13 needs you. Facing the captain's trust and expectations, Lin Yu's heart was full of contradictions. On the one hand, he is excited about this challenge, which is an excellent opportunity for him to show his strength and leadership skills. On the other hand, he is also deeply pressured. He must prove that he is qualified for this position and live up to the captain and all the players' expectations. I will do my best, Captain. Lin Yu replied firmly, with determination in his eyes. I will keep the spirit of the executive captain in mind, and I will lead the 7th team to get back on its feet. Come on, kid, you have to learn to be on your own from now on. Lin Yu, who returned to the 8th Division, was filled with emotion. Bianjai, I am also going to be promoted to captain. Time flies so fast, and I have reached this point. Come on, Captain Lin Yu. I still need your protection. Ba Yunjai, please stop joking and teasing me with this sentence. Lin Yu began to regret saying this to Ba Yunjai. Well, no matter what, you'd better learn Bankai as soon as possible. Only if you learn Bankai, you will have more protection. Tomorrow is the day when you will be promoted to captain. I made a captain's haori for you. You can wear it quickly. Let me take a look. Ba Yunjai took out the captain Yuji he had prepared. You really look much more handsome when you put it on. Come and give me a hug. The next day, the ceremony for Lin Yu's promotion to captain of the 7th Division was held under the auspices of the chief captain. Lin Yu also stood in the position of captain of the 7th Division. All the captains congratulated him. In the days that followed, Lin Yu began his transition from vice captain to captain. Not only does he need to be familiar with every member of the 7th team and understand their personalities and fighting styles, he also needs to reformulate tactical plans to ensure that the team can respond quickly and effectively when facing various emergencies. On the first day after becoming captain, Lin Yu stood in the middle of the training ground of the 7th team, facing a crowd of expectant and somewhat confused eyes. He cleared his throat and began his inaugural speech. From today on, I will serve as the new captain of the 7th team. I know that the responsibility on my shoulders is heavy. I will do my best to lead our 7th team towards new heights. We will train together, fight together, and protect our homeland together. His words were brief and powerful, and every word was full of determination and confidence. The team members gave warm applause to the new captain's speech. They saw the firmness and determination in Lin Yu's eyes, which made them full of hope for the future. However, becoming a captain is not always easy. In the next few months, Lin Yu faced many challenges. Some veteran members of the 7th team questioned his youth and experience, and he also encountered some difficulties in tactical decision-making. But Lin Yu did not back down. He proved his ability with practical actions. Under the shadow of Nobusuna's death in the battle, Lin Yu gradually won the trust and respect of the 7th team in his own way. Not only did he inherit the courage and determination to execute Nobusuna, he also showed his own unique style in leadership. Under the leadership of Lin Yu, the 7th team became more united and its combat effectiveness was significantly improved. However, Lin Yu still did something very outrageous. He moved his captain's office to the 8th team. On the grounds that he had just been promoted to captain and was not familiar with team affairs, he asked Ba Yunjai to help him handle team affairs all day long. But it greatly increased Ba Yunjai's workload, causing Ba Yunjai to complain endlessly. Captain Yamamoto looked at the changes in the 7th team, and his heart was filled with joy. He knew that he had not chosen the wrong person. Lin Yu not only filled the vacancy left by Executive Nobusuna, but also brought new vitality and hope to the 7th team. After experiencing the pain of losing their captain, the Gote 13 are gradually recovering their strength and preparing to face the Quincy's massive attack on Seoul society in the future. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.